Su Xiaobai lies in a hospital bed looking like a dried-up banana peel. He is at 1 horsepower, and the only thing working in his body is his brain. However, even that isn't going to last long, as the doctors suspect his illness might cause respiratory failure soon, which means goodbye for him. Even though he isn't afraid of death, he still doesn't want to die in such a pathetic way. His wish is granted as soon as the very next moment. He finds himself staring at the melons of a hot chick calling him her master as he slowly regains consciousness. He realizes that he can move his arms even though he was paralyzed just a moment earlier. Moreover, the girl is sitting right on top of him. She introduces herself as Zhao Pinger and mentions that she is his personal bodyguard. I'm not sure where this is going, but my man needs to move her away before he turns into a banana peel again. Just as he starts getting a bit excited, the goon gods strike him with a curse, and he feels immense pain in his manhood. This pain is all that he needs to come back to his senses, and he starts to question how the hell he even ended up in this place. The girl asks him if he is okay. So he quickly locks in and says that he is fine. He asks her why she is calling him her master, and she drops the entire lore on him. It turns out that our banana boy has been chosen as the successor to the celestial throne by Longming himself. It all starts in the land of Celestia. When a mysterious meteorite strikes the planet out of nowhere, with it arrive alien predators who soon overtake the entire land and start destroying everything in sight. However, all hope is not lost, since they also cause evolution among the remaining humans. Among those humans is the Emperor Longming, who also happens to be the most powerful man on the planet. Trying to free the human race from this disaster, he gathers a team of 72 celestial guards and forms the last standing fortress for the humans. It is basically a huge city surrounded by protective walls. Bro definitely got inspired by King Fritz. The peace within the walls doesn't last for long, as the Emperor suddenly vanishes during his fight against the predators. Since the Celestial Court is the only human settlement left on the planet and he is its new leader, she wants him to come back and fulfill his responsibilities. Hearing all this, our boy calls bullshit and says that he doesn't believe in any of it. To prove herself, the girl casually draws blood from her thumb, trying to lure nearby predators towards them. It doesn't take long for the zombies to show up, and our boy finally realizes that he is in some real shit. The girl explains that these monsters feed on human flesh and roam around the entire continent outside the Celestial Court. Despite being surrounded by terrifying monsters, our boy doesn't miss his chance or a farm in front of the chick. He asks her to run away and starts walking towards the zombies. The girl is shocked and asks him if he isn't afraid of them. Without looking back, our boy drops a cold bar and says he is more afraid of her dying than facing those zombies. This is enough to riz her up, and she smiles, thinking to herself that the Emperor made the right choice by selecting him as his successor. After she flies off, my man quickly realizes that he doesn't have the dog in him. He decides to run away, hoping the zombies won't be fast enough. However, before he can even make his move, one of them lunges at him without warning. Suddenly time stops and he starts hearing the Emperor's voice inside his head. The guy tells him that he is the second spirit living inside his body. Meanwhile, the girl watches all of this from above and asks for the Emperor to help our new goon king. The next moment, a powerful light emanates from the pile of zombies and pushes them all away. Our boy emerges from the mess unharmed and full of newfound aura, wondering if this is what it feels like to be reborn. All the corpses soon start disappearing and their energy automatically flows to the MC. While he is standing there in confusion, the girl comes back and explains that this is the power of the Emperor, allowing him to not only absorb energy from others, but also steal their powers. The MC realizes that this is a world with magical powers and wonders if his disease was also cured because of his powers. Suddenly the girl kneels down in front of him and requests that he come back to the Celestial Court since his people need him. Our boy thinks for a bit and turns down the offer, saying he isn't interested. My man just refused to enter every Redditor's heaven. The scene changes and now they are at the gates of the Celestial Court. The girl playfully teases the main character, asking why he's in such a rush to get to the throne when he doesn't even seem interested in it. He mumbles that he's not after power, he's just hungry and wants some food. As they get closer, he notices how incredibly tall the walls are and asks how they're supposed to get in. She tells him not to worry. The gate has a special security system that only people who live there can open. She steps up, puts her hand on the gate, and after her name is announced, the huge gate slowly opens to let her in. The main character is amazed. The place looks normal from the outside, but inside, it's a huge, bustling city. The girl explains that the celestial guards keep the peace here. When he asks about them, she says they are the palace's protectors. The palace itself is at the center of a giant structure, with 12 bridges being the only way in. The guards are the best of the best and are split into 5 ranks. D, C, B, A, and the highest S. Hearing all this, our boy thinks to himself that she is just describing some security guards. As the two walk further inside the city, Zhang Tianmeng, the top-ranked celestial guard, angrily confronts the girl for leaving without permission. She defends herself, saying she was looking for clues about the emperor, Long Ming, whose soul is now in the main character's body. The others laugh at her, calling her crazy for still searching for him, since he supposedly died 3 years ago. Her anger grows as she remembers visiting the battlefield where he died, only to find no trace of him. The main character, unable to stay quiet, yells at the guard for ganging up on a single girl and calls him shameless. The guard mocks him back, calling him an outsider who isn't worth their respect. The crowd joins in, calling him insane for talking back and even threatening to kill him, reminding him that outsiders aren't welcome. The guard tries to attack, but our boy is just too quick for him, so he dodges easily. Even he is surprised by how light and agile he feels, wondering if it's a new power. The others also join and surround him, but they suddenly collapse under an immense force. The girl used her ability to increase the gravity in the area by 10 times, pinning them to the ground. She warns everyone not to touch him while she's around. Still, the lead guard manages to get back up and flexes that he can't even feel the difference with just 10 times the gravity. He quickly jumps at the MC trying to knock him out, but unfortunately for him, he is about to get his ass kicked. Our boy touches him with his palm and starts draining him dry using the Emperor's signature ability. The crowd is stunned as a huge blast of energy shakes the ground. At the same time, we see a woman named Dracula inside the palace. Another woman, a celestial guard ranked 3rd at Tier A, feels the disturbance. She looks at her with a smirk and asks if she can feel it too. It's revealed that the Dracula girl is actually a 3rd-rank steer guard. While still holding her wine glass, she confirms sensing the power, and mentions that it's Big Boy Ming. Back outside, our boy has completely milked out the guard, and bro is left wondering who the hell this outsider is. Of course, the Goon King doesn't waste this opportunity to proclaim himself as his daddy. Everyone is completely stunned as if nothing had happened. He turned to the girl and said they needed to go get some food. He boasts about how much he'll eat, and she agrees, letting him get his fill. The crowd is still frozen in shock, unable to believe what they just saw. From the outside, it seems impossible that the newcomer defeated a level C guard using the late Emperor's powers. People wonder who he is and how he appeared out of nowhere. As the two of them continue walking, they come across another girl who looks like she got out of Demon Slayer. Her name is Kodo, and she is another personal guard for the MC. She asks if the guard has been bothering her again, adding that she'll deal with him herself if he has. Just then, another girl appears in a lab coat, mocking her for not being good at anything other than chopping people off. The girl is Li Xian, a researcher who will be working as Xiaobai's bodyguard. He just watches all the women, wondering if they're her friends. The blonde chick tells the others not to worry, since her master has already dealt with the problem. He asks her to chill out since she might hurt him again if he gets excited. The other two guards ask if he is really their new master. She confirms it and claims that he has the power of their great emperor. The girls are shocked to realize that he is going to be their next daddy. Right after that, our boy is shown eating inside the palace. The women nearby are in awe of his huge appetite, whispering to each other as if he hasn't eaten in years. The katana girl finally stands up, clearly confused by everything. She mentions that she doesn't know why the emperor gave him his power, but if he fails him, she will make him pay for it. Another voice agrees, reminding him that it won't be easy to take his place. If he really wants to be their master, he has to follow the emperor's last wish to take the throne and destroy the predators, which are basically zombies. But the girl who brought him there doesn't say a word about whether he even wants the throne. Later, our boy is in his room working out. He grumbles to himself, wondering why everyone expects him to be like the emperor, even though he has no interest in the throne. Suddenly, the truth hits him. The Big Daddy himself appears right in front of him. The MC is shocked and freezes for a moment. He soon realizes it's just the emperor's soul, and he hasn't actually come back from the dead. The guy confirms it, saying his body is dead, but his spirit remains. He's weak and no one else can see him. Our boy smirks as he hears this and asks if he is planning to take over his body using his soul. However, the emperor rejects this idea and claims that he's here to make a deal. If the MC agrees, he'll get the greatest power in the world, tons of wealth and ultimate authority. All he has to do in return is find out who killed him 3 years ago. Of course, the banana boy has no interest in any of this, so he pushes back, refusing to play along. But the emperor expected this. He warns him that he can't say no. He reveals that he's already placed a curse on him that will only be broken once he fulfills his end of the deal. If he refuses, the curse will make him suffer intense pain every time he gets an erection. Considering the fact that he is surrounded by all these baddies, he knows that's going to happen a lot. This news crushes my man, who realizes he's been trapped against his will. About 10 minutes later, he's still trying to process it all. He can't believe the so-called Celestial Emperor would use such a cheap trick to threaten him. He insists he won't be bossed around and wonders why the big man chose him in the first place. After all, he's just a normal guy. Surely there was someone better. Unless, of course, there's a hidden reason. The emperor thinks to himself that the man is right. However, when he saw him in his dried-up banana peel form, he knew he'd be the perfect fit for his milking ability that makes him convenient. The MC admits he's grateful for a second chance at life, but is reminded that he's still human, not a tool to be used for someone else's plan. The emperor seems amused, saying how interesting this boy is and how much he underestimated him. Meanwhile, the katana girl is listening to all of this while sitting on the rooftop, wondering if he has finally fallen asleep after talking to himself for hours. But he's actually wide awake, painfully aware of the curse. He wonders if he has to wake up in pain every morning from now on. Just then, the door opens and a girl quietly enters his room. He wakes up from the noise and opens his eyes to find himself held at machine gun point by a girl looking like budget Harley Quinn. Understandably, our boy panics and asks her who she is. Instead of answering, she keeps the gun pointed at him and asks if he is the inheritor of the infinite darkness. My man tries to calm her down and tells her to put the gun away, but she refuses. She's not like the other girl who brought him here. She suspects he tricked his way into stealing the emperor's power. It turns out she's Long Ming's sister, though not by blood. When he asks if she's really his bodyguard, she fires a warning shot that blasts a hole in the pillow. She threatens to kill him unless he tells her the truth about her brother. After telling her the entire story, she tears up and realizes that her brother is truly dead and that his soul is now inside the body of this gooner. The MC urges her to calm down, explaining that if the emperor's enemies find out, he'll be the first to die. She finally breaks down in tears and rushes in to hug him. But our boy is locked in, so he stops her in her path, telling her his real name and clarifying that he's not her brother. Still, if she really wants to help him, she can take him somewhere tomorrow night. Soon, they arrive at a place called the Lover's House, where the air is thick with tension. The stepsister sits outside and warns other customers that the house is full and that she'll kill them if they don't leave. She secretly seethes at our boy's arrogance, vowing to kill him if he ever dares to give her an order again. Inside, our boy is battling his inner demons, trying to fight the charm of all the girls. The girls tell him to relax and enjoy himself, but he has to completely lock in due to the curse. His aim is to make himself hard enough so he doesn't have to get hard often. Another woman walks up to him, and he tries his best to stay calm. But his gooner self soon takes over, and he can't resist it anymore. He screams at the top of his lungs as he feels immense pain from the curse. Moments later, he walks out of the place looking defeated. The stepsister mocks him, calling him a pervert and saying that he looks dried up. Our boy knows that the emperor got the best of him this time, so he doesn't have much to say. As he walks away, the girl mentions that there will be a trial for new celestial guards next month and asks if he is going to prepare for it. He scoffs, saying he never asked to become one of them. But she mentions that if he wants the throne, becoming a celestial guard isn't a choice. It's a requirement. For now, though, he shrugs it all off. He tells her that he's had too much to drink and needs to find a bathroom fast. While he is releasing pressure in a nearby alleyway, something bounces into his vision. It looks like a ball with a human mouth attached to it. For some reason, our boy picks it up and tries to examine it, but then the ground starts to shake. From the depths, something huge emerges. A demonic predator called the Devourer. Meanwhile, Budget Harley Quinn is around the corner, wondering why her brother picked someone like this guy. She hears the noise and peeks into the alleyway only to witness him fighting this huge monster. This is a bit shocking even for her since demonic predators don't appear this deep in the city. Our boy barely escapes by bursting through a wall, but the monster and smaller creatures follow him, all trying to kill him. He panics, realizing he's not fast or strong enough to fight them. But just as they close in, their bodies are shredded by a hail of bullets. The pink-haired girl comes in clutch and slaughters them all. She mocks the MC for being scared and throws a rude insult at him. At the same time, she looks up at the rooftop of a nearby building and calls out to a mysterious woman, telling her to stop hiding. She accuses her of bringing a demonic predator into the city since it's something only she could do. Shockingly, it is revealed that the mysterious woman is her aunt and the emperor's fiancée, promised to marry him when she turned 20. My man is stunned, realizing she was supposed to become the emperor's wife, and now fate seems to have tied her to him instead. She, however, scoffs at the idea and says she'd rather kill him than marry him. This woman is Mu Yuanyuan, also known as the Holy Maiden of the Blue Moon. Seeing her up close, our boy loses it and goes into a flashback about his crush, who looked exactly like her. Unfortunately, she rejected him in his previous world, and it seems like this one isn't going to be any different. He tries to reach his hand out to her, asking if she really came to this world just for him. The maiden smacks him in the face, calling him shameless and bringing him back to reality. Seeing this, the sister gets mad and warns her not to harm the inheritor of her brother's power. However, the woman wants to kill him since it would nullify her engagement. Suddenly, the demonic predator appears behind the sister and swallows her whole. The woman coldly looks ahead and asks her to stay inside while she takes care of her future fiancé. She starts walking towards the rubble, expecting him to be crippled by the impact. But to her surprise, he appears out of the smoke and tries catching her with a surprise attack. The girl is quick to dodge and realizes that he used his infinite darkness to absorb the impact of her attack. Even though it's been 2 days, he has progressed a lot. He thanks her and admits her attack woke him up, literally. Our boy reveals he was in a coma for 3 years in a hospital, and his crush never once visited him, so there is no way she would come looking for him in this world. The only thing common between the two of them is their appearance. Hearing this, she complains that he still has that girl on his mind and flat out tells him he's gonna die tonight. But he insists she's got it all wrong. He doesn't want the girl from his past anymore, and he's realized something important. He's not the only person who can inherit the throne of the Celestial Emperor, however. She still wants to marry him for some reason, and even got jealous when he visited a nightclub. Our boy smirks, asking her if she is actually in love with him. The rage bait works a bit too well, and the woman starts fuming. She tells him that she went for him because the other inheritors were already married due to her powers. The ground cracks open and monsters swarm out from every direction, all attacking him. He's completely surrounded. She taunts him, saying this is the end, and the creatures will eat him alive. The maiden even admits she never meant to kill him, but that everything happening now is his own fault, and he should blame himself. Our boy isn't gonna let some random chick get in his way, so he gets back up and starts absorbing the energy of all the monsters around him. He confesses that he truly doesn't want to be the emperor. Even though he has the emperor's powers, everyone keeps pushing him into a life he never wanted. No one cares what he really wants. He already died once, and in this new life all he wants is freedom to live for himself, not for others. While the woman is drawn by his words, she notices the pink-haired girl forcing her way out of the monster's mouth. The girl reveals that the reason she uses a machine gun is that her power is so overwhelming that if she loses control, someone could easily die. The main character can't help but think about how dangerous she is. The demonic predator can bite down with a force of 2,000 killers, but to her, it feels nothing. It's all due to her cellular enhancement power that allows her to change the structure of her cells and increase her strength beyond human limits. Suddenly, she charges right at him, yelling that she might kill her with a single blow. She strikes, but the girl just barely dodges. Realizing how deadly she is, she knows he can't fight her up close and has to keep her distance with no other option. The maiden activates her power called the Eyes of the Blue Moon instantly. Strange effects spread to both of them. This is a super rare SSR rank ability. She can control monsters with weaker mental fortitude, but in the presence of the moon, her ability is greatly enhanced, allowing her to control even humans for a short period. Just when things look hopeless, a sword slices through the air between them. They are both thrown back in shock and notice the woman coughing up blood. Our katana girl has come to the rescue. She coldly looks at the ant after slicing her and warns that she must go through her before she kills her new master. One falls from above, but the MC grabs her just in time. He begs her not to die, saying it's not her time yet. She passes out and he yells at her not to scare him like that. A little later, she wakes up and finds herself in what looks like a normal bedroom. To her surprise, all her wounds are gone. She remembers the sword that struck her. It wasn't normal, it felt like pure evil had come down just to finish her off. Our boy hears her waking up from outside the room and thinks to himself that he will just keep acting for now. Since she is so determined to kill him, he turns to the katana girl sitting nearby and asks for her help. His potential wife hears him speaking to the guard. He asks her why she was in a place like that and if she was watching her. Kodo tells him she's ordered to protect him no matter what, because so many people want him dead. The killer who murdered the emperor is still free, and that same killer could come after him too. On top of that, 2 others also have a claim to the throne. The sovereign of the celestial court, Count Dracula, and Long Ming's sister, Long Yen. Both of them have their eyes on the throne as well. The katana girl warns him not to be too soft-hearted, or more people will try to kill him. But the MC explains that he can't just kill people casually. He saved the girl earlier because he couldn't stand by and watch her die. Hearing this, the girl realizes he was the one who saved her midair. She thinks that if the sword woman hadn't appeared, she might have killed him herself. But even then, he still protected her. He declares that even if he doesn't care about the throne, he can't just let a free wife go. The girl can't take it anymore and slams the door open, asking who gave him the right to call her his wife. She says even if he saved her, she will never marry him and warns him not to even think about it. His heart sinks. She rejected him in front of everyone, leaving him humiliated. The katana girl steps forward to back our boy, warning her that if she tries to harm him, she'll cut her down with her blade. She reveals that she only used the back of her blade last time, and the girl immediately realizes why the sword didn't leave a mark on her. The MC studies her and realizes she's still shaken by what happened before. As he gets closer, she thinks to herself that as long as the katana girl stays near the MC, she might not have a chance, but she still needs to find a way to kill him. With that, she leaps back and summons a massive eagle. The bird lands behind her and speaks to them, asking how dare they disrespect the holy maiden. They can clearly tell it's a demon bird of high rank. Still, the katana girl laughs and says it'll be fun to kill it then. Out of nowhere, the maiden asks if he wants to marry her, suggesting they talk about an engagement so others don't interfere. The MC realizes she's just trying to drive the other girl away, but she still feels terrified. He tells Kodo that she can leave since he needs to talk to this one, but she refuses. Eventually, he convinces her to leave, but not before she gives him a warning. The MC brushes it off, saying that he's tough to kill. He then turns to the girl and says that no one will bother them now, so she can ask directly what she wants. She admits he's not as bad as she thought at first, but she follows it with an insult, saying that he is a nobody who only got a bit of motion because of the Emperor's power. The MC replies that words can cut deeper than swords. She smirks and tells him he has 1 month. The Celestial Court will hold the Celestial Guards competition if he can defeat her in the competition. She will recognize him as the Celestial Emperor's inheritor. He is a bit confused about the competition, so he asks for more details. Basically, it's just a replacement plan for the guards who died during their battle with the predators, so they hold this competition to hire new ones who can replace the ones who died or were injured during battle. Hearing all this, our boy gets a bit cocky and asks if he only has to beat her to get married. She bursts his bubble and explains that it's just the basic step, since there are also levels within the Celestial Guards. The previous emperor was at the very top, and someone like him can't even be compared to him. The words hit hard, and our boy prepares to say something nasty, but the girl stops him, so he has to trash talk the emperor in his own mind. Finally, the maiden warns him that if he loses in the first round, he'll never get another chance. One failure means he can never compete again. She asks if he still wants to go through with it, and our boy gladly accepts the challenge. A month later, we see a young man arriving at the Holy Mountain Coliseum, where the competition is supposed to take place. He's amazed by the energy of this place. As it feels like an ancient gladiator arena, the guy is obsessed with being strong and loves a good fight. The thought of battle gets his blood pumping, and he's sure he's going to win today. It's revealed that he is from a small village inside the Celestial Court, and his name is Ma Fuji. Seeing the crowd and the size of the arena makes him excited as he hopes he'll get a good fight. Even before the competition officially starts, a fight breaks out. A white-haired guy quickly takes down his opponent, who complains he didn't do anything. The crowd is excited to see a fight even before the competition starts. When his opponent tries to hit him with a spell, the white-haired guy instantly freezes him without even touching him. Everyone gasps, whispers spread fast. This is a dangerously powerful ability, a special one known at the SSR level called the Elemental Cold. While he's not the top fighter, he's Long Wei Yong, a highly ranked Class 1, known to be the nephew of Long Ming. The girls in the crowd can't handle his insane riz and go wild. Suddenly, our village boy grabs him by the shoulder and calls him out for a fight. Everyone in the crowd is shocked and wonders if the young guy has a death wish. However, one of them identifies him and reveals that he is a powerful fighter who has killed dozens of demonic predators in a single year. Our village boy suddenly lights his hand on fire and says that he also has an SSR level ability. Just as things are about to get serious, the attire girl from before calls them out and tells them to simply fight it out when the actual trial begins. Turns out she is also the judge of this whole thing. Her presence alone stops them cold. The two guys quickly pretend they were just messing around. However, Long Ming's nephew is still wondering if the MC will show up since he knows he has inherited the Infinite Darkness ability. Finally, the purple-haired girl announces that the competition is about to begin. But just as everyone gets excited, a voice tells them to wait. It's the Holy Maiden, and she informs them that there is another contestant who still hasn't arrived. The nephew looks at her and wonders if she came here because of the engagement. Even the judge is curious about him after he defeated that tire guard, so she delays the trial by 5 minutes. 5 minutes pass, and the MC is still a no-how. People start to doubt. Hell comes, some say he's probably too scared. Even the maiden wonders if he lied about participating to everyone's surprise. He finally arrives. A look of relief crosses the girl's face as he shows up. He strolls in with his friends and greets the crowd. Most people look annoyed, blaming him for making them wait. They make fun of his heavy clothes in the heat and whisper that his friends are just bodyguards. The MC ignores the chatter, declaring that only he and the blonde girl will be attending the trial. After all, he thinks he alone is enough to take down everyone else. His arrogance makes the crowd angry, but the judge steps in just in time to announce the official start. She slashes the ground, and a glowing portal opens up behind her. Everyone gasps since this has never happened before. She explains that the competition has 2 rounds. In the first round, the portal will send each person to a random place outside the city. All they have to do is survive for 5 days. Anyone who makes it will go to round 2. People immediately start complaining, worried they'll end up in a monster's lair. But she reminds them that celestial guards risk their lives. If they're already scared, they should leave now. Many people drop out on the spot, leaving only the real fighters. When asked who wants to go first, the MC steps up. He figures going in early gives him an advantage to explore and get ready before anyone else. Chowpinger stops him for a second, saying she has a bad feeling. He reassures her, promising to find her first. On the other side, she feels a little better and decides to go in too. The MC steps into the portal. On the other side, he's completely shocked. Right in front of him is a demonic predator called the earthquake squid, and it seems unlikely that bro will even make it past the first stage. The beast roars at him with its huge tentacles lashing out and smashing the ground. The MC curses his luck as he's landed in a total nightmare. But he remembers the promise he made to the girl. He can't waste time here since he has to find her quickly. The squid lunges again, its tentacles striking faster and harder, forcing him to fight. The beast is surprisingly quick, and the MC dodges its constant attacks. The squid even says that for a human, he's good at avoiding hits. Our boy knows he has to end this fast and charges right at it. Meanwhile, his bodyguards wonder if he's okay since he'll lose his chance to inherit the throne entirely if he fails. The researcher girl mentions that even though Pinger is strong, she can't really help him get to the second round alone. As the girls doubt his abilities, Kodo admits he feels different since joining the Celestial Court. He's become more disciplined. He goes to bed at 10:30, wakes up at 7, and does a daily workout of 100 sit-ups, push-ups, squats, and a 10-kilometer run. She comments that he has so much energy, it looks like he'll die if he doesn't move. Just like her, he also has the instincts of a fighter. The MC hits the squid directly, punching it so hard its eyes pop out as the monster collapses. Its energy flows into him. But just as it dies, a human-shaped figure crawls out from inside. He wonders if the creature is really dead. Suddenly, a strange smell fills the air. He realizes it's a signal to summon more predators before he can do anything. The Emperor's nephew shows up out of nowhere and freezes the squid with his skill. He tells the MC that the squid was calling for help, explaining that these creatures start out like zombies and then become stronger by eating things. However, our boy can't give less crap about it, and he's more worried about him stealing his kill. The guy claims that he would have been surrounded by predators if he hadn't shown up, so he should be thankful to him. But the MC casually ignores him, saying that he doesn't have time for this as he needs to find the girl he promised. The boy keeps following him. When asked why, the boy says that according to the rules they have to survive here for 5 days to get to the second arena, and that means they are allowed to kill each other. The MC is surprised to hear that killing is allowed. Meanwhile, elsewhere in the forest, chaos breaks out. Explosions and bodies are everywhere. The blonde girl appears and realizes all the zombies here have been wiped out. She needs to find her master. Her bracelet starts flashing with warnings about the survival rule. She knows she can't be careless or she'll fail. Determined, she starts searching for the MC, silently urging him to wait for her. However, from the darkness of the forest, a mysterious figure is watching her with a creepy smile. Pinger quickly senses that she is being watched and calls out to the man to reveal himself. The guy steps forward with the same creepy smile and asks her how long she's known he was tailing her. She mentions that she knew it from the moment it started. The guy takes off his hood and reveals that he came here for her master, as someone wants him dead. He demands that she take him to his location. Of course, she refuses to tell him he's dreaming if he thinks he can get away with it. Her power flares up. The gravity around them gets stronger 10 times, 20 times, then 30 times normal, crushing him to the ground. Despite being targeted with such a powerful spell, he still remains calm. Meanwhile, the scene shifts back to the MC. The guy he was just talking to says that he is nothing compared to him in his current form and can't be worthy of. Our boy thinks this guy is crazy and wonders what he even wants, but then the guy says that he shouldn't be nervous, he just came to tell him something. He advises him to do his best to survive and starts to walk away. Our boy asks him to explain what he means. The guy reveals that someone wants to kill him. The MC says he already knows that. But the guy explains that when the rules were announced, he realized someone had already changed them just to make it easier to kill him, and that the person who changed them isn't an ordinary person. He warns him not to ignore it and says that if he wants to survive, he has to at least get through this first round. The MC wonders who this guy is and why he's helping him. Suddenly, he feels something strange coming from the forest. We see Pinger fighting the same guy who sends her flying hard into a tree. She hits it badly and is injured. In shock, she thinks to herself that he has a lightning ability. She can't believe it because the registration says he's just a veteran soldier with no special powers. Realizing he's dangerous, she knows she can't fight him or let him find her. The man walks back toward her, pulls out a knife, and threatens that if she doesn't take him to her master, he'll use her dead body to find him instead. Despite facing such a tough opponent, she doesn't cower away and instead tells him that he won't be doing anything to her master with her around. Meanwhile, our boy is running towards her location as fast as he can. He hears others talking about him, calling him the unlucky boy everyone's been talking about. As they see him, he rushes past, knocking someone out of the way to escape quickly somehow. He can sense that, and needs his help badly injured. The girl thinks she has to help her master and can't die here. Before finishing her off, he says that it's a shame for a woman like her to be serving such a short-lived master. However, he suddenly notices a flash of light behind him, and before he knows it, he gets elbow chomped on the neck, sending him flying back. The girl looks up to see her master standing right in front of her, farming more aura. Considering the impact of the blow, it seems like the guy has died. The MC tells the girl he's glad he got there in time and apologizes, saying it's all his fault she's hurt. She says it's just a scratch and she'll be fine with some rest. Pinger insists he does not worry and admits she's not a very good bodyguard because he ended up saving her instead of the other way around. Moreover, she should be the one apologizing. The girl asks him how he even found him in such a big forest. The MC explains that she might not believe it, but he somehow sensed she was in danger, and when he felt where she was, he came. She wonders what this sensing power really is and if it could even work on the master. Meanwhile, the attacker is undergoing a transformation with his DNA itself changing and evolving. It's cold out, so our boy hands his jacket to Pinger, telling her to put it on and rest while he stands guard. She refuses, but he insists, saying she took care of him before and got hurt because of him. He says he'll protect her for the next few days to repay her. She finally thanks him. Some time passes and a weird creature with tentacles attacks the MC directly, but he tears it apart easily. He looks at the man who is now conscious again and says that this is the reason he couldn't absorb his energy earlier, since he was playing dead the whole time. The guy claims that he is not that easy to kill. In truth, he only survived that last blow because he got injected with the Predator serum. He warns the MC not to get too cocky as strange, writhing things spill out of his body. He calls this his ultimate form, and our boy wonders what kind of twisted thing he's looking at. After finishing his transformation, the guy claims that he now has power equivalent to the highest B tier. Before he can yap anymore, our boy punches him in the face and knocks him far away. Moving with lightning speed, he appears in front of him again, slams him down, and starts absorbing his powers. While on the ground, he can see the MC towering over him with a terrifying aura. He finally realizes why the skill is so OP and starts to think the mission might fail if things keep going like this. He remembers the doctors warning him that the injection is unstable, no one knows its true effects, and his life could end at any moment. Despite the rejection from the Predator cells, he urges them to continue with the experiments. Afterwards, his boss calls him a failure for not fully merging with the monster cells. What he is missing is the infinite darkness crystal found within our MCS body. Back in the present, our boy has completely hooped his ass. He demands to know who the guy works for and what they are planning. The guy just laughs, asking if he really thinks he'd reveal anything. But he's curious how the MC got so strong, so far beyond their expectations in just a few days. The MC replies that it's because he's talented. At that moment, a lightning bolt strikes down from the sky. The guy wonders if God himself is helping him. He laughs, asking Xiaobai if he knows that lightning is a sign of a thunderstorm. Before he can finish the guy off, the blonde girl rushes over to him, warning him of something that's approaching. Before our boy can do anything, a powerful strike of lightning hits him directly. He opens his eyes to notice Pinger lying unconscious and battered like a character from a fighting anime. Turns out, she used her own body to block the strike. Moreover, thanks to the extra energy from the lightning, the guy is back in business. Rage fills the MC when he sees her broken body, and he promises that he will pay for it with his life. The guy senses an opportunity to strike as he notices him charging. However, our boy doesn't care about his spikes at this point and purposefully gets hit just to land a direct punch on his face. He doesn't stop, he keeps punching the guy over and over and finally lets go. It seems impossible that the man could still be alive after so many hits. The MC says he doesn't care who the man is, who sent him, or who's behind him. He's gonna find out everything. For every eye taken, hell take an eye. For every tooth, a tooth. As he says this, energy pours into him and his power suddenly goes out of control. He falls down, his body zapping with electricity, and collapses near the blonde while unconscious. He has a flashback. He remembers her asking if he was sure about entering this competition. She reminded him that everyone wanted him to take part because he was their master, not because of his own choice. As his bodyguard, she wanted him to go. But as his friend, she said she didn't want him to risk his life. The MC had thought they were treating him like a tool for revenge. Just like the other emperor, he didn't realize that the girl truly cared about him. She confessed that she wasn't just a bodyguard. She chose to join this trial herself, just to be by his side so he wouldn't be alone later. We see the same people who sent the attacker after our boy discussing how their operation failed even though their hybrid guy wasn't supposed to lose. It seems like they had the wrong information on the MC. The boss mentions that there might be an unknown master training him behind the scenes. The girl is confused and says that they only know about the 4 guards protecting him. However, the boss doesn't think it's important now since they have to recover. Li Yi's remains first at this point. The Holy Maiden arrives near the MC. She even considers killing him, thinking that would end their engagement, but when she looks at him, she hesitates and mutters not to blame her. Instead of killing him, she takes down a mutant zombie, ripping out its heart. More zombies swarm the area, probably drawn by the strong smell of blood. She knows the MC is defenseless right now and decides she can't kill him in this state. Therefore, she starts fighting off the zombies one by one, saying she doesn't care how many come. She can kill them all easily, but suddenly, she senses something much more powerful. Turns out it's a demonic predator called the Judgment of Earth. It roars at her, asking how she dared to kill its followers and sentences her to death. Bashir dodges its attack, but the creature appears too fast to outrun somehow. It continues to match her speed and even lands a clean hit. Creatures like these are divided into levels based on they have eaten. The predators at higher levels are called demonic predators. But she suspects that this one has reached an even higher level called a satanic predator. It continues sentencing her to death and goes in for an execution attack. Despite seeing his attack, Yuan worries that the MC and Pinger might also be caught in the impact. The monster keeps pounding the ground, saying no one can escape its punishment. However, instead of dodging the attack, she blocks it using one of her controlled creatures. This time, she summons a rhino who the full impact of the punches with pleasure. He is the type of predator who gets more excited when they get hit with powerful blows. The girl knows that she can't just leave Pinger and the MC alone like this since he saved her life once. Now it's her turn to repay the favor. The rhino monster keeps getting hit and it loves the fight. The girl thinks to herself that even though the beast can handle the attacks, she's running out of time and will have to fight back soon. As the enemy gets ready for another strike, she uses her visual sharing ability. This lets her control the rhino's body and she uses it to hypnotize the opponent for a short period of time. The satanic predator freezes for a second, but it is still confident since it thinks it can break the spell in a second. Just within that second, an eagle strikes from behind, piercing right through the predator and knocking it to the ground. It's the same demonic predator controlled by the maiden with a giant hole in its body. The predator finally falls down and the girl celebrates, thinking that she won. Her eagle reveals to her that they can't be too hasty since the opponent hasn't died yet. Since it's a satanic predator, it has a special power to absorb the life energy from all the other creatures in its territory. This means that no matter how much they damage it, the creature will ultimately heal itself. They realize it's impossible to beat it in its own territory. Fighting here is pointless, so the only choice is to run and find a new place, and just like that, the 4th day passes. The MC finally wakes up, confused and wondering where he is and where the blonde girl might be. He sees her unconscious nearby, while a humanoid predator is healing his injuries. He panics, asking what the creature is doing to her and why its hand is on her. But the maiden reassures him and tells him not to be afraid, since it's just healing her wounds. Our boy demands answers, asking if she was the one who brought them here. The girl explains that he shouldn't get the wrong idea, she's just paying him back. He once saved her life, so now she has saved his. She sits near Pinger and wonders if she can really recover with these injuries. The girl admits she isn't sure. Normally, with such bad wounds, she would have died, but strangely, some parts of her body are still okay enough for her to live. Still, the injuries might shorten her life. Even if she fully recovers, the MC realizes that she got hurt while protecting him. He stands up with a serious expression and asks Yuan if she can take care of Pinger while he looks for the guy behind all of this. This leads to a flashback from a month earlier. The Emperor had told the MC he didn't have much time left, but he would teach him as much as possible before then. How far he went afterward would depend entirely on him. The Emperor warned him that they can only practice while sleeping, so he should be prepared. Hearing this, our boy asks him if it's to hide his powers. This surprises the Emperor, who thought our boy was just a dumb goon. The MC knows that he is already a target, so if he shows off too much, he might get killed sooner or later. So instead of practicing, he needs to act like he is living the rich life and wasting away in the palace. Moreover, if he signed up for the trial before, he might have been exposed as trying to inherit the throne. But after Yuan attacked him, he could simply participate in the trial by saying that he wants a hot wife. The Emperor can't believe that this guy can peer into his mind despite being 18. Finally, the last day of the tournament arrives. Our boy secretly approaches the body of the predator guy from before, reasoning that whoever was behind everything would surely come to get rid of the evidence. Fortunately, he doesn't have to wait long, and Mo Yen, also known as the weapons master, arrives at the scene to finish the job. The girl immediately drags his body out. Disappointed that he ended up losing so badly, she even admits that she wants to meet the one who defeated him. Without a warning, our boy tries to hit her with a direct lightning strike, which is the ability he absorbed from the guy who died. As the smoke clears, the girl stands there without a scratch on her body, as she blocked the attack using a shield. She boasts that her weapon can morph 100 times according at her will. Her master had only ordered her to bring back the body. But she hadn't expected to find the MC himself here, calling it a foolish decision on his part. He dismisses her words, saying he has no interest in listening to her excuses, but from the way she speaks, it becomes clear to him that she is not the true mastermind. Someone else is behind her. Their fight begins suddenly, lightning rains down, and the girl realizes with shock that the MC has stolen Li Yi's power and has already learned how to use it. Everything they thought they knew about his body and strength was wrong. She resolves to test his power directly and lunges at him. The girl taunts him further, saying that if he wants to know the name of her master, he will have to force it out of her himself before unleashing another fierce attack. Seeing her using a weapon, he starts morphing the lightning around him and turns it into his own blades. However, looking around, he realizes his opponent has vanished in reality. The girl has repositioned far away, setting up a sniper rifle and locking her aim on his head. She squeezes the trigger, but the recoil is too powerful, throwing the gun upward. Our boy instantly senses the shot and does the most aura-farming move possible without moving his hands. He kicks a rock upwards and deflects the bullet. Afterwards, he mocks her, saying he has already found her. The girl is stunned, unable to believe he used a stone to deflect a sniper round. However, my man is not done yet. He proudly claims that he used to be a pro at Counter-Strike and throws his lightning spear directly at her. She quickly realizes that this one is much stronger than the last and morphs her sniper into a shield, but the explosion shatters it instantly. The explosion leaves her badly bruised and without a weapon. Humiliated, she realizes he is far stronger than she expected. The MC advances, slowly unbuckling his belt. She yells at him, calling him a pervert. He reminds her that she had refused to reveal who sent her, and now hell make her talk. It gets kind of weird from there on, and he basically threatens to do nasty stuff to her if she doesn't give him the name. This is enough to finally break her, so she starts talking. She reveals that the man behind her is Lu Jianyu, the director of the Scientific Research Institute. The MC is confused, wondering why a science director wants him dead when the throne has nothing to do with research. She explains that it isn't about the throne, but about his power, infinite darkness. But our boy still doesn't understand why he would try to kill him for his power. She continues, the Institute has already begun creating this power artificially. Their research shows that abilities come from the meteorite that started it all. The director has been experimenting on countless soldiers with it to create predators. His goal is to build super soldiers with dual powers. But the experiments always fail, and the test subjects lose control, some even transforming into predators who devour others. The MC realizes that they previously sent a defect against him, hoping to use the guy to kill him. She insists that the experiment wasn't a true failure, only incomplete. The meteorite's energy is not whole, so the experiments collapse. Xiaobai concludes that they want his power to complete it. She admits he is right. The director discovered the meteorite holds two cores, one of light and one of darkness. The white core gives, the black core takes. If the two are ever combined, the original power of the meteorite will be unleashed. However, for all that, they need the dark core, which is his infinite darkness. In other words, they can only create predators with dual powers by extracting the dark core inside them. The MC wonders why the director wants to create things in this way. She explains that he wants to expand his power and strengthen the celestial court so he can use his armies to fight against all the predators. Hearing all this, our boy thinks to himself that maybe this girl actually believes the director's lies. After all, the director has no intention of using the MC's power for good. He is definitely planning something shady. He tells her that he has a friend inside the research institute who can verify what she just told him, warning her that if she is lying, she will be in trouble. The girl wonders if he is not going to finish her off, and asks if he is really going. The MC casually says yes, unless she is expecting something else. She quickly denies it, but in her heart, she feels something more might have happened, but it doesn't. Then suddenly, the satanic predator from before appears, trying to hit them. The MC immediately blocks its punch and sends it flying. Shocked, the creature wonders how he can block his attack when his power is supposed to be only half recovered. Our boy tells the creature not to doubt itself, that it isn't its fault that it's facing someone so powerful at that moment. He starts to absorb the predator's full power. The girl is stunned, realizing his infinite darkness is so strong that even a satanic predator can't stand against him. Not only does he kill the predator, but he also drains the entire forest around them. She finds it incredible how powerful he has become. With that, he mentions that the 5-day trial is almost over, and he doesn't have time to waste on her anymore. He tells her goodbye. Desperate, the girl stops him, saying he forced her to reveal everything about the director, and now she has nowhere to go. If she returns, the director will kill her. She begs him to take her along. The scene shifts back to the celestial court, where Dracula appears and asks how many survivors remain. The girl reports that out of 33, only 8 are still alive, though some signals are faint, perhaps from people in a coma. She finds this disappointing, but the girl assures her that there is good news too. She mentions that all 3 satanic predators in the trial areas were destroyed. When asked who did the killing, the girl reveals that, based on the signals, it was Long Ming's nephew, the village boy, and our MC Dracula seems intrigued by this result. She announces that round 1 is over and orders to bring the participants back. Our boy stands in front of the portal, asking the girl if she is coming with him, and the girl confirms it. On the other side, his personal guards are waiting for his return. The white hair guy also starts making their way back through the portal. Meanwhile, the village boy isn't done yet. He sits on top of the pile of predators since he isn't satisfied yet. Suddenly, a strange creature starts walking towards him. Turns out that it's actually a god-level predator with strange markings etched across its body. The village boy thinks he is lucky since a fish has willingly swam into his net. The predator, however, is after something else and demands to know if the portal behind him leads to the celestial court. The guy, unfazed, simply asks him what he wants with it. The predator narrows his focus, releasing a crushing force that makes him instantly feel as though his chest is caving in. He struggles to breathe, realizing that this being's very gaze is suffocating. In his mind, he wonders where such a creature could have come from. Normal demon-level predators grow massive after consuming countless humans, but this one retains a human form, which makes it far more terrifying. Then it strikes him as he realizes that it must be a divine-level predator, which is a type of predator that evolves by consuming rare satanic-level predators. The village boy knows he cannot allow this thing to step through the portal, for disaster would follow. Summoning all his strength, he unleashes his dragon flame technique, igniting the air as flames roar from his hands and surge toward the predator. The heat is so fierce that it burns the trees and plants, boils nearby water, and scorches the ground before the fire even touches it. When the flames die down, he smiles, thinking to himself that his opponent couldn't have survived. Such a strange green energy suddenly wraps around him, forcing its way into his mouth and flooding his body with overwhelming power. His limbs stiffen as his body lifts from the ground, and within moments, he seems completely consumed by the energy, his eyes reflecting something unnatural. 5 minutes later, he emerges from the portal into the holy mountain arena of the celestial court. The arena is alive with tension as all survivors of the first round gather. Above them, a massive screen flickers on, showing Dracula, who congratulates them on making it this far, but warns that the second round will be far more brutal. She explains that the 8 survivors will now compete in knockout battles, with only 2 reaching the finals and earning the chance to become celestial guards before the eyes of the highest members of the celestial court. Among the gathered survivors are Lin Yihen, the Windcutter, Kolak, the old school hero, and Lu Junshin, the Mohawk King. The village, still radiating the predator's energy, listens to Dracula's words with a sinister smile stretching across his face. Nearby, our boy carries wounded Pinger, worrying whether her injuries will heal in time, since they only have a month left for the second round. When Dracula declares that the match list is ready, the crowd murmurs in shock. The pairings flash on the screen and turn out that the blonde girl will face the Holy Maiden. On the other hand, our boy is going against the old-school hero. Yuan Yuan frowns at the list, convinced that Zhao Pinger is too injured to win even if she recovers. She reflects that he has caught up to the MCS level of strength, but doubts whether she can surpass her now. As she thinks about what might happen if she loses, her eyes wander toward him, only to find her casually picking his nose, embarrassed. She blurts out that it is none of her business when she asks what he's thinking, then storms off in disbelief that he would act so shamelessly in front of everyone. The Emperor's nephew, meanwhile, studies the village boy carefully. He considers him an ally, yet something about him feels disturbingly different now. As if in response, the possessed Fuji suddenly senses a powerful energy far beyond the arena. He mutters that it is calling him and begins walking toward it outside. His eyes light up with madness as he whispers that after 10 years of searching, he has finally found the origins of the power of the predators. As he stares at the giant machine, he thinks to himself that acquiring the power will allow him to ascend beyond divinity. My man just wants to get out of the hood. He stands there for a bit, laughing like a true villain. The scene finally shifts to the hospital, where the doctor informs them that Pinger's situation is not improving. Our boy and his guards aren't really pleased to hear this news and threaten him with violence. The researcher girl shows up at the right time and calms them down, revealing that there is someone who can actually help the blonde. The stepsister immediately demands to know who the guy is so she can bring him here. However, the girl mentions that he's not someone she can casually bring over. This surprises the girls, and they wonder if this doctor is stronger than they are. The researcher girl reveals that the person is not a doctor, but the second-ranked Steer Celestial Guard. After the Emperor, he is the most powerful man in the entire Celestial Court, and with his godlike mental ability, he can heal her in no time. However, it might not be that easy to convince him since he retired a while ago. When all hope seems lost, the girl who came back with the MC arrives at the scene and starts dropping the guy's entire lore. She knows every single detail about him, including his home address. The girls are shocked and ask her how she knows all this stuff. Moreover, since she planned to kill our boy just a few days ago, they can't really trust her too much. The girl mentions that the director has an intelligence network, so he knows the details about all the Celestial Guards. Since she has already joined the MC, she has no reason to lie to them. Moreover, the guy is a bit weird, and she's not sure if he will even help their friend. Despite the odds, our boy gets up, all dripped up, and announces that he's going to visit this master of mental forces. In the next scene, we see our boy climbing his way up the snowy peaks of the Holy Mountain while carrying Blondie on his back. After a painful journey, the two finally arrive at the house of this so-called master. Outside, he notices the same creature who was healing Pinger earlier and touching her. The creature starts running away as soon as he sees him, but our boy catches up to him. With a furious expression, he asks him what he is doing here since he used to be Yuan Yuan's pet. The poor creature makes an innocent face and looks at him without saying anything. Suddenly, the MC hears the voice of the master calling him out for entering his home and bullying his pet. My man looks like he eats dinner with a katana. Just one look at him, and the MC can tell how powerful he is. Even the snow can feel his aura and melt before touching him. It almost seems like he has a protective barrier around him, and anything that crosses it will melt away. Before he can say anything, his daughter walks in and asks if he is talking to a guest. Turns out that his daughter is actually Yuan Yuan, the same woman he is going to marry if he inherits the throne. Later, the three of them sit inside, and he explains that he only came here out of desperation since Zhao Pinger was severely injured while trying to protect him. The girl is impressed that he climbed a mountain with his bare hands just for his bodyguard. He claims that he is ready to pay any price if her dad heals her despite his sob story. The guy has no interest in treating the blonde, so he straight up rejects his request. The MC asks him if it will damage his powers to heal her, but the guy casually tells him that it's not a big deal for him. He doesn't want to help him since other people might also start lining up. Suddenly, his daughter asks him to help her since the girl is her next opponent, and she doesn't want to face someone in that condition. This makes him a bit confused, and he wonders why his daughter is vouching for a stranger. Nevertheless, he agrees to help the blonde but warns that the process will produce a lot of heat, so they might have to take off all of her clothes. My man starts foaming at the mouth as he hears this and starts imagining her in all sorts of ways. Meanwhile, the master starts the procedure and gently touches the back of her head with 2 fingers. She moans in pain, and he starts to realize that she has dual powers as the process continues. The MC stands in the room with his eyes closed, hoping it all goes well. Suddenly, Pinger starts to regain consciousness and feels the heat. However, she can also feel her lack of clothes, which makes her freak out with his eyes closed. The master announces that she has finally recovered, and everyone takes a sigh of relief. Later, Yuanwen shows the MC his room and mentions that he can rest here for now. He thanks her, and she asks why he went to such lengths for her, even though she is just a bodyguard. Even someone like her needs her bird to carry her down the mountain, and he climbed it with his bare hands while carrying the girl on his back. The MC locks in and says that it was all worth it since she isn't just his bodyguard, but also his friend. He did have friends and a family before, but all of them left when he got paralyzed. That made him realize that the only people who truly care for you are the ones who stick with you when the whole world abandons you. The girl risked her life to save him, and so he will also give his life to save hers. Hearing all this makes Yuan a bit jealous, and she storms out of the room, saying that she will give them a ride back down when they are rested. Meanwhile, Pinger is on the balcony looking at the mountains. With a smile on her face, she thinks about all the things her master has done for her. Suddenly, the steer guy shows up and asks her what she is doing out here in the cold. She asks him the same question, and he mentions that he couldn't sleep, so he came here to have a cup of milk tea. Bro has immaculate taste. As they talk, he asks her about dual power holders. In this world, there are rare people who get 2 powers when shown by the light of the meteorite, and after treating her, he found out that she is one of them. Even though her injuries would have killed most people, she is still breathing for some reason. He suspects that her other power makes her immortal. Pinger explains that her second power is called symbiosis, and it allows her and another person who has received her power to cheat death even after suffering wounds that are lethal. The other person who receives her power is someone she cares about the most. They will be telepathically linked to her, which explains how the MC sensed her when she was in danger. She reveals that she is only telling him this because he saved her life and requests that he become her master. The guy rejects, saying that he is a busy man and it's just too much work. However, he is still impressed that he climbed the mountain with his bare hands, so he will give him a gift. The next morning, the 2 of them casually sit on the back of the giant eagle on their way towards the meteorite so our boy can get his own power. While flying, the guy explains that there are many power holders, so some people tend to have similar powers. These powers are divided based on their rarity, starting from N, R, SR, SSR, and the rarest UR. His infinite darkness ability stands in the ultra-rare category. While the other ability he stole from the zombie man is probably SSR level. However, none of these abilities are his own, so today he will get one that is truly his. Our boy realizes that they are probably going to the Scientific Research Institute, so he decides to use this opportunity to find out what the Sushi director is planning. The 2 of them are stopped at the gates by some guards. The Mind Master looks at them with a cold expression and says that people have really forgotten who he is after spending so much time in the mountains. The guards start mocking him, calling him an old man. The next second, all of them start floating in the air upside down. During all of this, the Mind guy is not moving an inch, and it almost feels like his mind is controlling the air around him like it's a living thing. It doesn't take long for Big Boy Director to show up, who asks Mind Master Mu what he is doing here. The guy tells him that he has a friend who still hasn't awakened his power, so he wants his help. Hearing this, the director asks if he still managed to make friends while living on that mountain. Ma says that it's all thanks to his aura and introduces the MC to him. Hearing his name, the last dormant brain cell in the director's brain becomes active, and he realizes that our boy must be onto him. However, there isn't much he can do since one of the most powerful celestial guards is backing him up. He makes up an excuse, saying that before using the meteorite, they might have to get approval from Count Dracula, since she is the one overseeing all this stuff. The MC clearly sees through his bullshit, but before he can do anything, the Mind Master teleports in front of the director. With a terrifying gaze, he asks the old man if he is really going to turn him down like that after he came all this way. The director knows he can't mess with him, so he quickly changes his attitude and asks them to follow him. Even though he is blind, he can still lead them through the building without any problem. Our boy notices that the place is heavily fortified, and he couldn't get this far if he didn't have Mu with him. Moreover, He can also feel the infinite darkness inside him getting stronger as he walks closer to the meteorite. The three finally arrive at the entrance of the room where the meteorite is stored, and the director hesitantly opens the even the Mind Master is surprised to see the meteorite since it's also his first time here. But the first impression isn't all that great since it just looks like a normal rock. He looks at our boy and notices him acting a bit strange. The director knows that his darkness is being attracted to the light inside the meteorite, and if this keeps going, he might lose his senses soon. That means his darkness will be completely absorbed by the rock, which is exactly what he needs to make his experiments successful. While the director is busy dreaming, Mu punches the crap out of the MC, asking him why he isn't listening to him. This punch is enough to bring him out of the meteorite's attraction, and they prepare to finally give him his power. Upon pressing a button, energy starts flowing into the rock, and it suddenly lights up. While Master Mu wonders what new power our boy will receive, the director is hoping for him to get some crap N-level ability. The meteorite does its thing, and the guy asks if he got any new powers. The MC plays it cool and claims not to feel any different. He starts accusing the director of using a fake meteorite to fool Master Mu. The old man crashes out and starts screaming that it's his fault for not getting power. Our boy continues with the rage bait, but the old man quickly catches on, thinking to himself that he must have gotten some real good ability and is trying to hide it from him. Xiaobai suggests they leave since the director isn't acting too nice and claims to know a killer milk tea place nearby. Master Mu quickly agrees with him, and the two start walking away. However, the director isn't done with them just yet and has had enough with the insults. He draws his sword from the cane he carries and prepares to slash them, but Master Mu already knows what he is about to do. He warns him not to try anything funny and asks if he has already forgotten how it feels to be dominated by him. The old guy backs off for the second time and apologizes, saying that they are free to leave. Even the MC could feel Master Mu's aura and realized that if the director hadn't stopped his blade, he might have died for sure. He looks harmless enough on the outside, but inside he is a monster. The two casually head back on the bird while he drinks his milk tea in one go. Since it's just the two of them now, he asks the MC to reveal his power. Our boy realizes that he can't hide it from the Mind Master, so he admits that he lied in front of the director. However, since he hasn't used the ability yet, he isn't too sure how it works either. Hearing this, the man immediately touches his forehead using his finger and transfers his consciousness to his power domain. Inside, he can see hundreds of eyes staring at him. Moreover, from the looks of it, this seems like some kind of spiritual power. This power allows the wielder to control specters and is quite rare. He wonders just how powerful since that would determine the actual usefulness of the power. It doesn't take long for the specter to appear, and it's actually quite big. When he asks for its name, the specter reveals that it's actually a demon god named Azura. Some more time passes, and the guy finally regains his consciousness. He tells him that he got super lucky with his power. The MC gets a bit too ahead of himself and asks if it's the gift of light from the meteorite. The guy mentions that it's not that good, but it's still an SSR-level spiritual power that allows him to summon the demon god Azura. Our boy thinks the name sounds a bit cringy, but the master disagrees. He warns him that even though the demon god is pretty strong, he is still evil, so if he uses this power too much, it might start consuming him. Fast forward a month, and it's finally time for the last trial. Hundreds of residents of the Celestial Court walk the mountain just to witness who will become the next Celestial Guard. Some of them came to get a glimpse of Count Dracula and the purple-haired girl Wu Yu, who is judging the entire contest. She tells Dracula that she didn't need to come this early since she is supposed to make people wait to see her face. The Dracula girl doesn't really care much about all that and says some poetic shit about the moon. Suddenly she senses someone sitting on top of the tent. She knows that there aren't many people in the Celestial Court who would do that, so she literally dives headfirst into the tent ceiling to take a look for herself. Just as she expected, she finds the Mind Master Mu sitting there casually enjoying his milk tea. She asks if he came here because of his daughter, but turns out he just wanted some new jumbo milk tea. He even offers some to Dracula, but she denies it since sugar speeds up aging. Mu doesn't understand her reasoning since she is not young anymore, so she should just do whatever she wants. As the two of them are talking, a woman walks into the crowd. She is none other than Long Yen, who is also the Emperor's sister. She asks them if they are discussing who will be promoted to the Celestial Guard along with her son. The purple-haired girl calls her cocky and mentions that her son might not be able to perform with her mommy watching from the crowd. The two of them continue talking, and it turns into an argument. Finally, Dracula orders them both to shut up since the final trial is about to start. Two girls sitting in the crowd watch them arguing and wonder if they both have a beef. One of them mentions how Long Ming's sister has a bad reputation since she is rumored to sleep with a lot of people for her own benefit. Moreover, she doesn't seem to have any talent and only got to rank because of her brother. The girl feels bad for her son since he is too handsome to have a mother like her. Hearing the word handsome, another guy shows up asking if they are talking about him. He is Feng Mian, a rank 7 steer celestial guard. The girl cannot handle his riz and starts to fold immediately. She starts to feel all kinds of weird sensations in her body and some nasty thoughts before things can escalate further. A divine baddie shows up, calling him disgusting. The guy turns around and asks if she also wants to experience ultimate pleasure. The girl is named Lilith, and she is also an steer celestial guard who ranks just above him. She tells him that his tricks don't work on her and warns him that he will be put on trial if he doesn't break his spell on the girl. With an annoying expression, the guy finally releases his spell and mutters something about the girl being lustful. When the divine baddie asks him what he said, he switches up and tells her that he was just calling her beautiful. This makes her blush a bit, and she asks him to shut up. Meanwhile, the judge finally announces the start of the trial and all the participants start walking in Xiaobai's guards, and the weapons girl also cheer for him from the crowd. He looks at them and notices that the researcher girl is not here. Pinger explains that she is working at the research institute, so she couldn't find the time to be here. The MC wonders if the director is planning something since he allows her to work here despite knowing she is his bodyguard. Meanwhile, the mommy calls out to her son from the crowd, who barely glances at her, causing her to be flustered with excitement. He immediately looks away as she continues cheering for him in the background. According to the competition rules, there are 3 ways to win the match. First, if they can straight up knock out their opponent or keep them off their feet for more than 10 seconds. Second, if the opponent surrenders. And third, if the match appears one-sided. Moreover, if any of the contestants is about to receive fatal damage, the match will be terminated immediately after the rules are explained. Pinger looks at the MC, who appears to be bored and yawning. She wonders if he just didn't sleep properly. Even Mu is a bit worried and thinks to himself that he didn't listen to his advice properly. Round 1 finally begins and our boy faces off against Kolak, the old school hero. A woman in the crowd explains to her son that the old school hero is often considered the strongest man in the celestial court. Apart from the celestial guards, he has attended the trials for 5 years straight and he always ends up facing the toughest opponent at the time. Even this time, he thought he would be facing the village boy, but he is glad he matched with the MC since he thinks he can easily counter his infinite darkness ability after he finishes with his yap session. Our boy looks at him with an evil smile and reveals that infinite darkness isn't the only ability he has. The man still doesn't get the hint and thinks he can beat him since he has more experience in battle. He uses his super speed power and starts running in circles around our MC. His plan is to look for an opportunity to strike since he thinks that as long as he stays out of range, he won't be able to use infinite darkness on him while moving around him. He notices the MC yawning and thinks this is his chance. He rushes in to strike, but our boy suddenly turns back and hits him with a gold gaze. The guy immediately leaps away, scared for his life. Everyone in the crowd is confused and wonders why he backed off since this was his perfect chance to attack, and when meanwhile, the guy is shitting his pants since he felt thousands of eyes staring at him when he got closer to the MC. He still can't understand what is going on since Xiaobai just looks like a normal guy from the outside. The crowd starts getting annoyed and pushes him to strike again, not trying to ruin his reputation. He decides to use his ultimate move. The MC tells him to hurry up since he has been waiting all day. The old school hero warns that his move will kill him in an instant and starts throwing rocks at him at an incredible speed. Using the rocks as a distraction, he sneaks up behind him and goes in for the finisher. Unfortunately for him, our boy sees right through him and smacks him away without even using his infinite darkness ability. Everyone in the crowd is shocked at this upset as they all expected the old school hero to win. During all of this, Mu notices him walking in a weird way and realizes that this is a sign of him being consumed by the demon god. The stepsister commends the MC for winning his match and announces that the next fight is between the blondie and her aunt. Before the fight begins, 2 of the contestants discuss the outcome of the match. The warrior with a sword asks his opponent who he thinks will win. The Mohawk guy says it's tough to say since both girls look equally strong inside the arena. Auntie tells Pinger not to hold back just because her dad saved her. The blondie smiles and says she'll fight with all her might. After all, She's the guard of the future king. She normally doesn't go all out. But today she glances at the stands where the MC is cheering for her and smiles warmly. She remembers how he always rushed into danger to protect her, carried her when she was hurt, and helped her up the mountain. Because of that, she wants to prove to him that she's worthy of being his guard. The holy maiden smiles and says she wants her to use all her strength so they can see who is truly stronger. The fight begins without a moment's hesitation. Pinger raises her hand and summons a huge chunk of earth from the ground. The crowd gasps in shock as the giant stone rises higher and higher. Our boy, though, is worried. He knows this is way beyond her limits. Yuan Yuan's dad calmly sips his tea, realizing this is her ultimate move. She wants to end the fight in one hit and aura farm in front of the MC, but he believes his daughter can handle it. The holy maiden herself thinks the attack is powerful, but knows she still has time to dodge. Suddenly, her opponent increases the gravity 100 times. Yuan feels the crushing weight of an entire building pushing her down. She collapses to the ground, unable to move. The stone drops and turns into a meteor, crashing down with terrifying force. The impact shakes the whole Colosseum, breaking the stone into countless pieces that fly toward the crowd. People cover themselves in fear, thinking no one could survive such an attack. Dust fills the air. Our boy looks up, worried for his potential wife. As the dust clears, the crowd is stunned. Eliza is standing there, completely unharmed. She strokes her body and moans with pleasure, saying that fierce hits like that are her favorite. Her dad realizes she has merged her senses with the rhino monster, gaining his strength and even his personality. She begs Pinger to hit her again. The men in the stands are thrilled. Not only did she survive, but she's taunting and provoking her opponent. Suddenly, she comes back to her senses and remembers that the blondie undid her gravity when she saw that she wasn't surrendering. However, that recent attack drained all of her energy, and she started free diving from the sky. The crowd is shocked, and her friends realize that if no one helps her, she will crash to the ground. Suddenly, our boy leaps from the stands. Confident in his strength, he promises he won't let her get hurt. He barely manages to catch her and scolds her gently, telling her not to risk her life over a competition together. They land near the massive crater left by the meteor strike, and the audience breathes a sigh of relief. The judge announces that since she can no longer fight, the outcome is clear. Her friends feel disappointed since she trained so hard and came so close to winning, only to lose at the end. Yu steps forward to declare her the winner, but Auntie suddenly interrupts to everyone's surprise. She raises her hand and gives up, declaring Pinger the winner. Instead, she admits that if she hadn't weakened gravity, she herself would have lost. Mu smiles proudly at his daughter's decision. Our boy knows that she would rather accept defeat than win in an easy, dishonorable way. Just then, he feels someone tugging on his collar. It's the exhausted Pinger, who weakly asks if she really won. Smiling, he tells her she did and that he is proud of her. Overjoyed, she hugs him tightly and thanks him for supporting her. The MC blushes in embarrassment, while his potential wife trembles with envy. Angry and jealous, she yells at the pair to control themselves. Blondie's friends laugh, realizing that the holy maiden is jealous, and even Mo Yen feels envious of such a warm hug. The director officially declares Pinger the winner and announces an hour-long break so the arena can be repaired. Later, our boy sits with the girls, sipping cold soda as they chat about the fight. He tells them not to argue over a competition. Yuan, still upset about her loss, apologizes to him for failing so early and admits she knew all along she could never defeat him. She doesn't object to him becoming emperor, and she even starts to speak about their engagement. At that moment, the director of the research institute suddenly appears behind them. He points out how easily he attracts women. Our Rizzler boy sarcastically asks him if he is here to congratulate him on his victory. The old man laughs bitterly, saying he hasn't forgotten how he humiliated him before and won't forgive it. He also knows that the Mind Master is away buying tea, meaning no one can interfere. He pulls a hidden sword from his cane and aims it at the MC, declaring that this time, no one will protect him. His bodyguards grow angry at his arrogance, warning him to stand back. Meanwhile, our boy smiles and calmly points out that if the dean kills him in front of the crowd, It will disgrace the celestial guards. He warns the old man that Count Dracula will punish him, but the director sneers that the count is only a sovereign, not the emperor, and has no right to judge him. Suddenly, the director's energy flares, as he is ready to attack, but the sound of clashing blades stops his strike. Shocked, the old man realizes someone blocked him. At first, he thinks it's the paladin Lilith, but then remembers she is no stronger than he and has no reason to interfere among all celestial swordsmen. He cannot imagine who it could be. Turns out, it's none other than our katana girl, Kodo. The old man is shocked, as this is his first time seeing her in battle, and he didn't think she was this good. At the same time, the stepsister and the weapon girl also walk in, threatening to fight him. He recognizes Moyen's voice since she worked for him. She tells him that he sacrificed too many lives for his own ambition, so she won't be taking his side this time. All the girls stand in front of our boy like a solid wall, preventing the director from attacking. In that moment, the old man makes the decision to kill them all, thinking it's only a few more dead bodies, but someone stops him just in time. Before even looking back, the old man can tell that it's Big Daddy Mu. The Mind Master looks him in the eye and asks if he really fears no one. Meanwhile, in a small forest outside the arena, a little boy named Zhao Kai calls out for his master, Fuji. He's been looking for him for a whole month and is confused about where he's been. The village boy, who is now possessed by the divine predator, is resting under a tree while the kid keeps asking questions. Inside him, the predator is trying to act normal so the kid won't know his true identity. Suddenly, the kid's expression changes. He notices something is off and asks why his wildfire seal is gone. He knows the seal only disappears when Fuji is in serious danger. He explains that his powers are too strong, and his mentor had them sealed by a master blacksmith because he was worried about him losing control. The predator gets annoyed. Tired of him yapping, then, the kid suddenly freezes. For a brief moment, Fuji's real self breaks through. His true eye appears, and he screams with all his might for the kid to run away because the predator inside him is dangerous. The village boy seems to regain control for a second, but the predator quickly takes over again. Terrified, the kid realizes this isn't his mentor anymore. He asks who is in Fuji's body now. Before he can get an answer, a scream and the sound of blood fill the forest. Back at the arena, the competition is back on after the renovations. Master Mu tells the director that he should watch the fights with him and not get involved with the young fighters. The old man replies coldly that he's blind anyway and can't see anything. Still, he insists he should watch. The judge announces the next match is Junshin, the Mohawk King, against Fuji, the Hellfire. The Mohawk guy says he's not afraid of him. Many people want to see him fight, but he believes he's a strong contender too. His ability is an impressive rank power, and he promises to shock Fuji with it. To prove his point, the guy grabs his hair and rips out his mohawk completely, but he doesn't feel any pain instantly. A new mohawk grows back. He explains that his hair grows super fast and is razor sharp, which is why he uses it as a weapon. Mu is surprised and admits it's a pretty good ability. Meanwhile, the old man looks like he is being held at gunpoint. The Mohawk yells that the fight has begun and uses his ability. Mohawk boomerang. Hundreds of razor-sharp hair blades shaped like boomerangs fly toward Fuji. The predator inside the village boy unleashes a storm of hellfire, which burns Junshin and destroys his ability, along with his hopes of winning. He calmly tells the Mohawk guy that he talks too much. Defeated and roasted, the guy raises his hand and surrenders. The crowd is shocked and realizes that the village boy is the real deal. The purple-haired girl declares Fuji the winner. The next match will be between Longming's nephew and some random-ass guy named Lin Yang. Meanwhile, the purple-haired girl looks at the stands, surprised that his mommy isn't there. Turns out, she is somewhere practicing to ask him out for dinner after he wins his match. She sighs, realizing that she is still nervous, and this is her best chance to talk to him if she wants to bond with her son. Without her knowing, he is standing nearby, silently holding a photograph. In the picture, a young Long Wei-yong is on his father's shoulders while his mother smiles next to them looking down the corridor. He thinks to himself that he should just say hello to her. But before he can, someone suddenly slaps her on the butt. Startled, she jumps, blushing in shock and embarrassment. At first she thinks it was her son, but it's actually someone else. The man scolds her, saying she wastes too much time worrying about her ungrateful son, who doesn't even care about her. The guy turns out to be Zhongshuan, the son of the Yunchuan Energy Corporation's founder Mommy, is furious at his attitude and snaps, asking him how he dared to touch her like that. Leaning closer, she hisses that even though his dad is her boss, she's not his toy. The guy doesn't even flinch. He calmly puffs on his cigar and says that to keep her job, she should be more polite. She realizes his threat is real, but she still calls him trash. Suddenly the air turns cold and snowflakes appear. The guy is shocked by the sudden chill, but she knows what it means. Her son has arrived. Wei Yong steps into the hall, raises his hand, and unleashes his freezing hurricane ability. The guy tries to threaten him to stop, but before he can finish, a blast of icy wind lifts him off the ground and throws him straight into the arena. An explosion follows, and he lands right at the feet of the wind cutter, the guy he is about to fight next. At first he doesn't recognize him, but then he realizes this beaten man is the son of the faction that controls all the energy in the Celestial Court. His family is powerful enough to challenge even the Emperor, yet there he is beaten like a dog. Meanwhile, Wei Yong walks calmly toward the arena entrance. His mommy calls out to him, embarrassed but also touched, saying she didn't expect him to defend her, proving he still loves his mom. He pauses, then coldly replies that it's not true. The piece of trash just happened to be in his way. Without another word, he steps into the arena. The crowd roars his name. Wei Yong is the son of an strength guard and the nephew of a former emperor. Many women in the stands love him for his strength and good looks. His opponent, however, feels bitter. The guy is too popular, too admired, and it annoys him. Before the fight begins, he raises his hand and complains to the judges. He points at the rich kid and accuses Wei Yong of attacking an innocent spectator, claiming this goes against a guard's duty to protect people. He demands that the man be disqualified. The girls in the stands get angry, calling him a cheater for trying to avoid a fair fight. The guy doesn't care. He knows that Yunchuan Corporation funds half the Celestial Guards, and he's sure Count Dracula won't risk making such powerful sponsors angry. But the Viceroy calmly says he didn't see any attack, and the director also confirms nothing happened. She agrees, and the judges decide to send Benjamin to the hospital and continue the match. The windcutter guy is stunned and disappointed that the Count values a fighter over a sponsor. But Longming's nephew is already getting ready for battle, deciding to fight fairly. He forms huge ice weapons and charges. His opponent, still distracted, begs him to stop, but he ignores him with one blow. He uses his soul-freezing spell. Spikes of ice pierce his chest, and the swordsman collapses, shaking from the cold. The audience erupts in cheers, chanting his name. Even his mommy blushes with pride, realizing her son has truly grown up. Now the semifinals are set. The MC will face Pinger. He asks her if she's ready to fight. Smiling sweetly, she raises her hand and backs out of the match. She explains that they aren't true rivals, and that she already used her strength in the first battle. Our boy realizes that she had already planned for this when the matchmaking was announced. Embarrassed, she admits she just wants to make sure he gets to the final, since only 2 fighters can become guards. The judge names Xiaobai as a finalist, securing his promotion to guard. The old-school hero watches, jealous, thinking the MC is incredibly lucky to have such a beautiful girl give up her chance for him. Finally, the stepsister announces the next match. Longming's nephew versus the village boy. Technically, it's the predator inside him. Fuji stands in the arena warming up, then raises his hands high. Wei Yong is surprised. He expects the village boy to attack right away, not waste time getting ready. Suddenly, a huge pillar of fire bursts from his hands, so powerful that the ground cracks. The flames shoot up high, forming the shape of a dragon. Everyone in the arena stares in awe as his power has actually taken a physical form. Count Dracula doesn't show any emotion, but even she is impressed. Wei Yong, though, stays calm. He knows Fuji is starting the fight with his best move, the Burning Heavens Dragon. The fire gathers in his body, and the predator inside wonders why this kid ever needed to be sealed. The fight begins as the fiery dragon opens its mouth, creating a red-hot fireball. The people watching gasp in fear, worried the flames would spread. The purple-haired girl, shocked, asks her master if they should stop the fight before someone gets hurt. The count says no. The fire dragon unleashes a massive stream of flames at Wei Yong. But our boy isn't scared. He raises his hand, summoning a huge wall of ice. The 2 powers collide, Fire against ice, the wall starts to melt. Unable to handle the dragon's heat with a huge explosion, the Colosseum shakes. And flames fill the arena. People panic and try to shield themselves when the smoke clears. The emperor's nephew coughs but is still standing, though his clothes are burned away. The predator is surprised. He explains that the attack wasn't enough, and Fuji made two mistakes. First, the ice wall blocked his view, and second, it gave him enough time. He swings his scythe at him, but the predator easily dodges it. He admits that he underestimated him, but he still thinks this is going to be an easy win for him. Using his flame fists, he punches the nephew. Flames crash against Wei Yong, who barely dodges, landing on the arena floor with blood on his lips and a burn on his face. Watching, Mommy gets worried, as she knows that her son has a severe phobia of germs, and he won't tolerate attacks like these. The guy, furious, breathes out steam. His eyes narrow as he whispers that this is unforgivable. He swings his scythe, sending a giant ice blade slicing across the ground toward his opponent. Shockingly, the predator catches it with his bare hands. Heat rushes through his palms, and the ice blade shatters into pieces. Wei Yong stares in disbelief, as only a strength guard should be able to do that. The predator, however, is worried for another reason. He's using his true powers too openly, and the guards might notice. Mu watches closely, wanting to learn more about Fuji. Meanwhile, the predator gets ready for his next attack. He reminds himself that he didn't come to the Celestial Court just to win the tournament. He chose the village boy's body on purpose, believing him to be the strongest fighter here. Wei Yong, blinded by anger, spins his scythe and gets ready for another ice strike. The predator, now truly angry, refuses to even consider losing to a newcomer. The battle of opposite elements explodes again, with each side trying to prove which is stronger. Shu feels scared for the MC. His opponents are so powerful, and she's not sure if he can win against them in the finals. Lilith also watches in awe, thinking both fighters deserve to win. When the dust clears, both fighters are exhausted. The predator inside Fuji didn't expect this, but he thinks it might work out. His body has no strength left, and if he gives up, no one will suspect anything. That way, he can freely proceed with his plans. After all, the powerful celestial guards had always stopped him before, but many of them are gone now. This chance to find the gift of light is too good to miss. He slowly raises his hand toward the judges. Wei Yong stares in disbelief. He says he has no strength left and gives up. Longming's nephew yells at him, demanding he show his best move, but the predator just sneers. He says that since he survived the last attack, he has no chance of winning. However, the guy knows that something is wrong, since surrendering has not really his style. The predator smiles, telling him that it's foolish to fight knowing that you are going to lose. He turns and walks toward the arena exit, saying that he can't change his mind now. Wei Yong remains uneasy. Fuji's behavior now is way too suspicious compared to the first round. His thoughts are cut short when the judge announces the match is over. He has won and is officially a celestial guard. The finals are set: Arguner Boy versus Longming's nephew. The MC quietly thinks to himself why the nephew helped him back in the first round, wondering if it was due to his connection with the emperor. Meanwhile, the predator inside Fuji leaves the mountain, no longer interested in the tournament. He has another goal. Suddenly, he notices someone following him. He turns and sees a tall man with long messy hair and torn clothes carrying a bag. The man stares coldly and says the person in front of him is not Fuji, demanding to know who he really is. The predator asks him how he knew, questioning if he is a friend of the guy. Turns out the man is Ma Fei, an 8th-ranked S-tier celestial guard and also the village boy's master. The predator is shocked, asking why he didn't expose him earlier in the arena when other guards were there, since it would have given him a better chance of killing him. Before he can think any further, the master hits him with a sudden powerful punch. The blow sends his body flying off a cliff as the guy tells him to keep his mouth shut. The predator is stunned that a mentor would attack his own student so brutally. The guy leaps down after him with incredible speed, letting his bag fall. He slams a kick into the predator's stomach, shouting that he and Fuji trained like this all the time. The force is overwhelming, and his body crashes into the ground like a bullet, shattering rocks on impact. The master lands nearby and catches his bag before it even hits the ground. He tells the predator to get out of Fuji's body. Grabbing him by the leg, he warns that if the monster keeps hiding in his student, he will kill him. The predator is stunned and calls him crazy, but the master just laughs and says he's heard that before. Apparently, his student often said it during training. The predator gathers power into his fist, wrapping it in green energy, and hits his mentor, causing the man to suddenly disappear. His trick works successfully, but he is still badly beaten. The predator doesn't even know who hit him, but it doesn't matter. He knows he'll be trapped in this body, a prison of souls he once ate, losing strength bit by bit. For now, he decides to rush toward the gift of light before the tournament ends. Back at the arena, the final battle begins. Wei Yong tells our MC that as a celestial guard, he's closer to the throne, but he warns him not to celebrate yet because Long Ming was important to him. He wanted to help, but first, the MC had to prove himself. Our boy now realizes that the nephew only supported him in the first round to see if he was worthy of taking the emperor's place. He unleashes his full power. A dark aura spreads around him, and black lightning roars into the sky. The guy is shocked since he can't understand how lightning can be black. The feeling in the arena gets heavy and scary. Even the people watching feel it. The old-school hero recognizes the same energy he once felt in battle, as if someone unseen is watching. Even the director is stunned as he realizes it's Azura's energy. When asked if the demon was summoned, Master Mu says no, he doesn't know how the mech got such power. What's clear is that he has combined Azura's energy with the power of the God of Thunder. The MC's eyes glow purple as he smiles and assures the nephew that he won't let him down. Wei Yong admits that our boy is truly special since he carries infinite darkness, but also has his own ability. The MC gets angry, remembering that only a month ago he saw him as unworthy. This time, he promises not to rely on borrowed power. The battle begins. Our boy leaps so hard the ground cracks, shouting that he's going to use his real ability. Scared, his opponent puts up an ice barrier with his ice patterns technique, but it shatters instantly from the MC's spiritual lightning strike. The guy is thrown back, shocked that the MC was so much weaker in the first round. His cheek is bleeding, proof that our boy managed to hit him. Suddenly, fear grips Wei Yong. He feels like he's being pulled into darkness as countless eyes appear around him. He has no idea what's happening. From the stands, the weapons girl wonders why he suddenly stopped, and Kodo notices that both fighters are frozen. A voice echoes in the nephew's mind, telling him his senses are under control and the fight is pointless. In front of him, a giant figure of Xiaobai appears, telling him to give up because he can't win. Wei explains that this is the power of the demon god Azura, which causes fear and controls the enemy's senses. The Count agrees, but the girl still doesn't understand why he didn't summon the demon god directly. Dracula stands up for a better look and says that Azura is no ordinary spirit. The MC isn't strong enough to control him, and if he's summoned, the demon god might even rebel. Still, fear is a passive power of the demon, and when you mix it with lightning, a small wound is all it takes to decide the fight. The Count is impressed by how easily Xiaobai got these results and realizes the kid isn't as simple as he looks. Our boy gets tired of waiting and sees no point in fighting someone who can't move. Wei Yong takes back some control over his body and says that he should have just finished him off after making him lose his senses. He warns that if the MC loses, it will only be because of his kindness. The MC doesn't understand how he could lose, but suddenly ice spreads across the arena, freezing his legs and trapping him with walls of ice. He sighs, calling the nephew stubborn since he had a chance to give up, but the guy ignores him since he can't hear anything. The boy then admits Xiaobai is the first person, other than the emperor, to resist him. Still, he has missed the point. Despite blocking 5 of his senses, he failed to consider his 6th sense, which is the ice below his feet. Wei Yong raises his hand, gathering ice into the legendary ice sword Excalibur. The crowd cheers, but his mommy and Pinger are worried for both of them. The sword makes the whole Colosseum cold, but our boy just grins, thrilled that the fight just got more exciting. Breaking free from the ice with his black lightning, he forms a huge black energy sphere and throws it at him. At the same time, Wei Yong charges forward with Excalibur. The sword and the sphere clash with a terrifying force. Neither side gives in, cracks spread, and finally a huge explosion shakes the arena. No one can tell who won. Then, violet energy gathers in the sky and it seems like our boy is about to use his infinite darkness ability. Meanwhile, outside the arena, the researcher girl watches this match from the Institute of Research, eating popcorn. She thinks Xiaobai's ranking will go way up if he wins, But suddenly, a violent shake knocks her around, spilling popcorn everywhere. Annoyed, she looks up and sees dead guards and Fuji casually walking towards the room with the meteorite. The predator walks forward, not seeing anyone else. Sure, he's almost there. He stops in front of a heavy door, feeling the energy fragment inside. With a single punch, he crushes the metal door like it's made of paper. The barrier falls. And at last, the predator stands before the meteorite. He is so excited, believing his dream has come true. With the gift of light, he can finally become the ultimate being. But he hears footsteps behind him. A brank guard rushes in, sword raised, yelling that he has no right to be here. The predator just sneers at his courage. In an instant, he grabs the guard's face and smashes him against the wall, killing him right away. The blow is so powerful that his handprint is left on the man's crushed face. Exion watches the cameras. Horrified, she realizes this guy came for the meteorite. If the marshal couldn't stop him, she definitely can't. Scared for her life, she decides to hide and pretend she saw nothing. Meanwhile, back in the arena, Wei Yong regains his senses, unsure if it's because time ran out or if Xiaobai let him go. Then he notices a familiar aura above, infinite darkness. Furious, he accuses the MC of breaking his word. Our boy, feeling ashamed, explains that infinite darkness is a passive power, and he can barely control it. Therefore, to make things fair, he allowed him to control his senses. Yen, however, leaves the arena. She's angry at Xiaobai's overwhelming power and knows her son no longer has a chance. Infinite darkness absorbs energy on its own, making him stronger while weakening her son. For her, the fight is already over. Suddenly, a roar shakes the city. Count Dracula and her assistant exchange worried looks. The director asks Mu where it came from. After a short pause, the man tells him that his lab might have been destroyed. A huge pillar of light shoots into the sky, and it seems like the predator's plan is working. He knows Shrank guards are on their way, but it's too late. The gift of light is already in his hands. The treasure he searched for 10 long years. Without a second thought, he starts absorbing the fragment's huge power. But at that exact moment, glowing hands form a strange seal over the fragment. It's the researcher girl Shin who locks the target with her ability. Suddenly, the gift of light dissolves into nothing, vanishing right in front of the predator's eyes. Shocked and furious, he turns toward the girl at the entrance, wondering if he left a small fry alive. She says that she never wanted to get involved, but as a citizen of Celestial Court, she can't ignore the murder and theft of their greatest treasure. She chooses to fight and stand against the predator. Her bold words just make Fuji angrier. He demands to know where she teleported the fragment, but she coldly tells him it's none of his business. Suddenly, black tentacles burst from his hands and quickly grab her. She is shocked since he never used this technique during the competition. The chains wrap tightly around her arms, legs, and neck. She immediately feels that this isn't human energy. The monster completely covers her body, leaving her helpless. The predator gives her 5 seconds to confess where the core is or she'll suffocate, but Shin refuses. She tells him that his threats won't work because if she dies, he'll never find the fragment. Before she teleported it, she sealed the gift of light with a barrier that cuts off all outside connections. Killing her would only mean losing the treasure forever. Fuji realizes he can't sense the core anymore. Enraged, he decides to torture her instead. The tentacles twist tighter, painfully bending her arms and neck. Shin screams, but she doesn't give in. He demands to know the fragment's location again. She just laughs in his face, saying it's somewhere he'll never reach. Meanwhile, the katana girl races toward the research institute, worried about her friend. The director also rushes there, which makes her a bit surprised. Suddenly, she hears a strange squeaking sound. She turns and sees hundreds of bats swarming. Looks like the Dracula girl is also joining them with 2 Shrank guards, including the handsome guy and the divine baddie. Together, they all head to the institute. Minutes later, she lands at the institute's entrance. Torn corpses of guards are everywhere, but Shin's body is nowhere to be found. Then she hears the voice of the director. He's shaking, mumbling crazy things about the gift of light, as if he's lost his mind. Kodo ignores him and notices someone else in the room. Lying in a pool of blood is Fuji, unconscious and badly hurt. She examines his injury and realizes it looks self-inflicted, but she doesn't know why. She lifts him slightly and tells him to give her a sign if he's still alive. She slaps him hard and he coughs, proving he's breathing. She asks where Shin is. At that moment, the director storms in, furious. With a sword in his hand, he demands to know where the core is. In his madness, he swings at Fuji, but the katana girl blocks the strike. She warns him that there's a time for everything. Shall finish questioning the guy first. Then they can talk about the treasure. The old man is fuming, furious that she would dare to block him again. To him, the core is worth far more than Shin's life. But before the fight gets worse, Count Dracula enters and says there's no need for conflict. With the surveillance cameras destroyed, Fuji is the only witness. If he dies, they'll never learn the truth. Dracula looks at the. Later, the group reaches the top of a snow-covered mountain. The kid slowly opens his eyes through the haze of pain to find the Mind Master Mu standing in front of him. He suddenly sits up, demanding to know why he's here. The master tells him he's a worthy student of Master Fei. With wounds this bad, a normal person would be dead. But he survived, which proves he's used to fighting for his life. Fuji tries to get out of bed, knowing he has no time to rest because the predator sealed his teacher, but a jolt of pain shoots through his body, and he collapses, blaming himself for not beating the monster. Mu watches him, seeing how much he acts like his teacher. Then a hand reaches out to the kid. It's Dracula. She tells him not to worry since his master is strong and won't die so easily. Fuji looks up in shock. The count asks him to share everything he knows and promises to handle the rest. Meanwhile, outside the city, Exian meets someone in a forest clearing. She urges them to leave quickly before the guards show up. A sweet, smooth voice answers, mocking that their plan failed. The voice belongs to the god-class predator Inu, who asks the predator why he chose to switch bodies from that village boy to this girl. The Netherlord replies that this girl is the only one who knows where the gift of light is, so he couldn't leave her body. He orders Inu to leave right away, as they don't have much time. Rustling comes from the bushes. A hairy hand appears, belonging to another god-level predator. The six-eyed ape named Azang. He yells at them, calling them sneaky for leaving him behind since he could have gotten lost back in Mu's house. They discuss what happened at the institute. Fuji explains to Count Dracula about the god-level predator who can possess other bodies. The Count admits she hasn't seen one in a long time, but she can't leave the city now since she's in charge. So, she gives the mission to rescue Exian to the divine baddie Lilith and the handsome blonde guy. He orders them to bring the girl back safely and kill the predator. The paladin girl promises to complete the mission at her life. Suddenly, the MC bursts through the door. He firmly says he's joining the mission too. He mentions that she is his bodyguard, so it's his job to save her. Kodo adds that Exian is also her friend and she won't abandon her. Mu frowns at his decision. Worried that his whole family is already too involved in guard service, the director is even more displeased, warning Xiaobai that a god-level predator is far beyond his strength. But our boy fires back, accusing the director of only caring about the core, not Zin's life. Lilith tries to dismiss him, saying she can handle it alone, but Mu speaks up for him. He argues that the MC is already a guard and this mission will be good training. He asks Count Dracula if she objects. Embarrassed, the Count admits he does not. So they finally decide to send all four of them to the rescue mission. Dracula is a little nervous under Mu's gaze, worried the master is unhappy with her. She decides he'll make it up to him later by sending him a milk tea discount coupon. Turning to the MC, the Count announces that, because of the urgency, there was no ceremony for his guard promotion. From this moment, he is officially a guardian and protector of the Celestial Court. She assigns him to rank 7 of Tier A. Fuji watches silently, impressed. He never thought the outsider could defeat Wei Yang. But the boy's determination is real. The MC himself is thrilled to be named a guardian. And to go on his first mission. The city gates open and the four guards set out together. Their mission? Rescue Exian and get back the gift of light. After careful discussion, they manage to find the escape route from their enemy. Xiaobai remembers the paths from a map he studied earlier. Out of thousands of routes, one place stands out. It's an area marked entry prohibited, known as the graveyard of the Celestial Guards. No one who enters ever comes back. Lilith is surprised he remembers such an obscure road. Feng, amused, says Xiaobai is quite unusual for studying maps in his free time. The MC explains it's just a habit from his past life, but for now, their only goal is to catch the enemy before he disappears. Meanwhile, the three predators move through the forest. The ape grows restless, complaining that he was promised battles, which was the only reason he joined. Inu warns the group that the signal traps show for enemies chasing them, but moments later, she realizes there are actually 5. The ape gets excited and asks to deal with them, saying the monkey inside him is itching for a fight. The Netherlord turns and coldly tells him that Inu will handle the pursuers, because he has a more important role ahead. When he explains that the ape must carry the gift of light so he can focus his power on finding its location, the predator grows angry, feeling used. But the Netherlord insists they'll be safe once they reach the graveyard of the Celestial Guards. At the same time, our guards stop when the MC notices an ambush. A massive boulder flies at them, but Kodo rushes forward, slicing it into pieces with 30 lightning-fast strikes. She demands that the attacker show themselves, and Inu drops from a tree with a sly smile, saying the guards can only pass if they pay with their lives. Kodo and Lilith stand ready, declaring that she will be the one dying instead. Our boy also steps into trash talk, warning them not to waste energy. He believes the demon girl is only stalling and likely has more traps, so his plan is to hold her back alone while the squad pushes forward to catch the other predators before they reach the cemetery. Lilith is impressed by his quick thinking. However, Kodo refuses to let him fight alone. She jumps in front of him, saying she'll handle the demon girl while the squad keeps moving. Seeing how calm she looks against 4 opponents, Kodo realizes she's dangerous. She strikes first, unleashing a flurry of katana blows, but Inu barely flinches, sending her long hair to attack like living blades. The two clash fiercely. The katana girl fights with determination, but it's uncertain how long she can last. The squad seizes the chance to bypass her, but the succubus refuses to let them escape. Her hair digs into the ground, exploding upward like spears to block the way. Xiao Bai warns everyone to stay alert against her ranged attack. Suddenly, Lilith's sword glows with divine light and she charges, shouting, "Shell, clear the path." Her strike shreds Inye's hair apart, shocking the succubus. In that moment, the guards leap past her, breaking through. The MC promises Kodo that he'll survive, rescue Exion, and bring both of them home. The demon girl fumes, angry that her hair was destroyed, but even more enraged that 3 guards slipped past her. She points at Kodo, vowing that if she loses the Netherlord's love because of this failure, it will all be her fault. The ground suddenly shakes, and faint green footprints flash across the surface. Someone rushes past with incredible speed, leaving the katana girl stunned, but she can't even tell who it is. She guesses it might be the director and wonders if the old man has been following them all along. The demon girl, meanwhile, remembers too late that there was a 5th pursuer. Fear creeps in. If the plan fails because of her, the Netherlord will never enjoy her company again. Kodo throws down her katana sheath and grips her sword tightly. She tells the demon girl that even though she is a god-level predator, all she has are freaky thoughts. The demon girl looks sad and says that she doesn't understand. While the Netherlord lived at the Starling Court, he only thought about the gift of light for a whole month. He ignored her, and it broke her heart. Tears stream down her face as she cries loudly, her voice releasing sound waves that scatter the birds around them. Suddenly, the katana girl feels her body acting strangely. The sound waves are affecting her brain, and she can't control her movements anymore. Inu reveals that her cries could strip someone of their fighting power. Seizing the moment, she attacks. Her hair sharpens into hundreds of sword-like strands, stabbing toward Kodo. She sneers that this is how love pierces the heart. The katana girl collapses to her knees, unable to believe she might die here. At the same time, the MC and the others close in on the enemy ahead. The ape appears, sitting casually on a tree stump with a massive club in hand. He knows Inu failed, letting 3 enemies slip through confident. He thinks he can crush them all with one strike. Fong grins, saying monkeys are his favorite, so he'll take this fight. But suddenly, another monkey appears behind him. Then more. The ape smashes his club into the ground, shaking the earth for a moment. It looks like the blonde guy might be crushed. Seeing this, the ape laughs, boasting that he can clone himself endlessly, and each copy is just as strong as the original. But his joy turns to shock. Fong stands back up, gripping his staff with one hand. He tells the squad to move on, warning them that staying close will only put them in danger. His eyes glow red, and inside him, his power explodes outward, lifting trees into the air. Even the ape hesitates, unsettled by the strength of a mere human. The monkeys growl, ready to fight. Feng declares he'll handle the predators himself, and then catch up. Xiaobai watches in disbelief as the blonde guy looks like a completely different man. Lilith calmly explains that 7 different personalities live inside him. The monkeys taunt him, saying his breath stinks and he should close his mouth. At that moment, the guy rises into the air, floating as if gravity no longer applies. He hovers before the ape, who mocks him, claiming he isn't scary. In response, the blonde guy slaps the predator hard across the face. The ape is outraged. Not even the demon lord has ever struck him like that yet. This human dares. But Feng doesn't stop. Blow after blow rains down. Too fast to dodge, the ape reels under the strikes. Helpless, another clone sneaks up from behind, swinging its club at the guard. But the attack hits nothing. It seems like the blonde guy vanished, but he's simply moving too fast for the predators to see. He stands on the monkey's own club, showing the gap in their strength. The ape is stunned by the guard's speed, but he tells him that the celestial court has at least 6 others just as strong, some even faster than him. With a powerful kick, he sends the monkey crashing to the ground, forcing him to drop his weapon. Feng, filled with wrath, declares that one blow is enough to tame him like a mere animal. Dawn breaks over the forest. The real ape predator runs desperately toward the graveyard of the celestial guard. He feels the pain of his fallen clones and warns the Netherlord that their pursuers are too strong. If the guards catch up, he can't stop them alone. He begs his master to hurry with the ritual and locate the core so they can finish off Exion. But the master ignores him, fully focused on digging into the girl's mind for the gift of light. He reaches into her memories and watches her, beaten and broken on the ground. Exhausted and hopeless, she prays for someone to save her. Just as a zombie appears to devour her soul, a sword pierces through it. Kodo steps out, saving her at the last moment. She tells Exion that if she wants to live, she must follow her. The Netherlord notices the katana girl and feels a spark of recognition. He remembers seeing her in the audience during the competition, and she also appears often in the researcher girl's memories. Concentrating harder, he finally realizes the truth. The artifact he has been searching for, the gift of light, rests not in Exion, but within the chest of the katana girl. By now, the sun shines through the trees. Kodo hangs battered in the demon girl's grip, blood dripping down her sword hand. The succubus has been beating her mercilessly, even with a blade in her chest. She refuses to let go of her weapon. Inu is shocked by her stubbornness but mocks her, saying the problem isn't resistance, it's that she is far too strong. Bored, she decides to end the fight. Her hair sharpens into blades and surges forward for the killing blow. Kodo closes her eyes, apologizing to Exion in her heart. She is ready to die, but suddenly, a brilliant yellow light bursts through the clearing. A powerful explosion scatters the demon girl's hair into shreds. At the center stands the katana girl, untouched. Surrounded by divine light, the power heals her wounds instantly. In her chest glows a small golden fragment, the true gift of light, granting her new strength. The demon girl stares in disbelief as she realizes that the artifact was hidden inside Kodo all along. For a moment, fear grips her, but then joy replaces it. If she can seize the gift of light, the Netherlord will finally love her, or so she believes. The katana girl is not done yet. She lifts her sword, telling her that she fantasizes too much, and before she can even move, she strikes. The force of her blade shatters the forest behind the demon girl in a single blow. The succubus crashes to the ground, defeated. Even as she dies, she laments that she was so close to winning Steve's favor. Kodo looks down and for a brief moment, feels pity for her rival. The demon girl whispers her last words, confessing that she still loves him. Her mind drifts back to years ago, when she was only 18. In an abandoned house, tears ran down her face as she clutched her shirt. A man pulled on his pants and coldly told her not to cry, and to keep everything a secret. He adjusted his glasses and warned her that if anyone found out, he would make her life a living nightmare. She screamed that he had no humanity, but the man struck her face so hard that blood flowed. With rage in his eyes, He told her that if he hadn't sheltered her, both she and her mother would have been eaten by predators. He reminded her that he had spent a lot of money to support her, so she must repay him with her body. Outside, thunder rumbled and rain poured. But the poor girl stood on the roof of a tall building. She felt nothing anymore, not even the cold rain. Tired of the torment, she wanted to end it. A voice inside her told her to take just one step into the abyss, and it would all be over. She rose on her tiptoes, spread her arms wide, and prepared to say goodbye to the cruel world. She thought that if there was an afterlife, maybe she would finally find kindness there. But before she jumped, someone spoke behind her. It was the Netherlord. He told her death was not the answer, only power could change her life. She trembled when she saw him, but she had nothing left to lose. The god-level predator told her to become his subordinate, promising her powers unknown to mortals if she chose his side. Then, he bit her neck and passed some of his power into her later. Back in the same house where she once suffered, the man who abused her sat trembling with fear. She looked at him with cold contempt and asked if he didn't want repayment. Well, now was his chance. The man panicked and begged her not to take his words seriously. He clung to her leg, pleading for his life, offering to bring her other young victims instead. But she no longer desired human flesh. For the first time, she unleashed her new power. Shaping her hair into blades with one strike, she cut him down. His scream echoed, blood splattered on the walls, and he died almost instantly. The demon girl felt no guilt, just disgust that he offered another to sacrifice another human life just for his own pathetic survival. Meanwhile, after finishing her fight, the katana girl turns to follow her friends, but suddenly, Yinya's hair wraps around her legs. Stopping her, she is shocked to notice that the demon girl is still alive after such a powerful blow. The succubus sits there, confused, saying she feels strange, as if her memories are erased. She even asks Kodo for help. The katana girl hesitates, unsure if she is sincere or just plotting revenge. In another part of the forest, the Netherlord and the ape predator move toward shelter. The monkey asks why the gift of light is so important. His master explains that he cannot understand until he reaches his own limits. He has climbed to the peak of spiritual strength but finds only loneliness there, thinking no one in the world can rival him. Yet once, he lost to a human boy, a true genius named Long Ming, who later founded the Celestial Court. The predator admits that if not for the Emperor's power of infinite darkness, he would never have lost. When he died, he found his remains but not his power. That absence troubles him now. He believes that with the gift of light, he can surpass his limits, resist the infinite darkness, and rise even higher. The monkey finally begins to understand his master's obsession. If he gets the gift of light, he will become the strongest being in the world. After some time, the two of them reach the edge of the graveyard of celestial guards. They arrive before the guards can block them. The monkey suggests leaving a note for Inu so she can follow. But the Netherlord jumps down and shakes his head, saying that it won't be necessary since she is not coming back. When he sent her to fight the guards, he didn't expect her to make it out alive. The ape is shocked by his master's cold words. The monkey never expected that his master planned to abandon the demon girl from the start. The demon girl once said the three of them were like family, but the Netherlord only answers coldly. If her sacrifice brings him the gift of light, then it is not wasted. Besides, family is just a human word, and predators have no need for such things. With that, he ends the conversation and orders the monkey to follow. Once they step deeper into the forest, their pursuers will lose track of them. But suddenly, a massive arc of light shoots down from the sky. The predators quickly realize they will not escape without a fight. The monkey ducks just in time, and the attack only grazes his head. A line of light slashes the ground in front of them, cutting down trees and leaving behind a huge trench. The monkey feels lucky, as one step slower and he would have lost his head. The Netherlord, however, is impressed. Such force, splitting the earth with a single sword strike, is rare. No wonder his demon girlfriend could not stop their pursuers. Looking up, they see Lilith from above. She declares that anyone who passes through this world will die with no pardon. The Netherlord calls her arrogant for threatening him, claiming he is far stronger than any strength guard. Then he leaps over the trench, ordering the monkey to follow. Lilith, angered by his boldness, speeds down like lightning with her sword. The ape panics. She is so fast that he cannot even follow her movements. Her blade strikes, but the Netherlord blocks it with an impenetrable shield. Calmly, he tells her that even if the owner of the body is her friend, she still can't beat him. He has already fought a guard before and designed the shield from that battle strength. He is sure she cannot break it, but Lilith confidently answers that in the Celestial Court, none can match her in sheer destructive power. Her sword presses harder, and cracks are spreading across the shield. The Netherlord's eyes widen as he realizes the barrier will not hold. The sword sinks deeper, and the cracks grow wider. He never expected such strength. At the last moment he tries to retreat. The shield shatters and Lilith's sword nicks Shin's cheek, leaving a small cut. Most of her power drives into the ground. Instead he dodges just in time, suffering only a scratch, though he knows it is luck. She is indeed skilled with the blade. However, the Predator is confused as to why she didn't use this opportunity to cut off his head. She changed her trajectory, perhaps because she too needs information about the gift of light. Lilith pulls her sword from the ground, saying she missed because she has not practiced in a long time. He immediately knows she is lying. As the blade comes free, the earth itself begins to quake. The small crack widens into a massive abyss. Even the Netherlord is shocked by her power. She smiles and points out that he cannot fight at full strength while inside another's body. If he wants to survive her next strike, he must return to his true form. She mocks him, saying that despite being a god-level predator, all he is good for is stealing other people's bodies. The Netherlord only grins and refuses to take the bait. He tells her that while he remains in this body, she will not dare kill him because the girl he is possessing matters too much to them. Her childish tricks will not work on him. The monkey, however, loses his temper. He shouts that there will be no mercy for the divine baddie since she ruined his hair with her attack. The Netherlord feels embarrassed by his owl's stupidity. The monkey does not realize he is far weaker than the paladin. Yet he still wants to fight since it's a 2v1. However, the girl calmly answers that she has not come alone. Suddenly, a heavy kick slams into the ape's head, silencing him. It is our Gunner boy. He ignores the monkey and locks his focus on the real enemy, the Netherlord. He reminds Lilith to stick to the plan, and she replies that she has not forgotten, already preparing her next strike. The Predator overhears this and realizes they are working on something. Above him, our boy appears, summoning hundreds of glowing purple spheres. He shouts that this energy comes from infinite darkness. Then he unleashes them all at once, filling the sky with explosions aimed at the Predator. The blasts shake the ground, and for a moment it seems impossible for anyone to survive, but the Predator shields himself, mocking the MC for wasting so much energy without results. Dust covers the battlefield, and he realizes it is just a distraction. Then he remembers the plan. While his attention is fixed on the spheres, Lilith is already charging in. He quickly realizes she is the real threat. He flips onto his hands and kicks away just in time to dodge her sword strike. Smirking, he says he has figured it out, but Lilith corrects him, revealing that he just got outplayed. Before the Netherlord can react, a shadow appears behind him. Our boy wraps his arms around the Predator's human body and locks him in a chokehold. The Netherlord suddenly feels his strength slipping away. Purple energy orbs begin to surround Shin as the MC starts draining the Predator's powers. In that instant, the Netherlord recognizes the ability and realizes that he is using infinite darkness. Our boy gives him a last chance, demanding that he get out of her body if he wants to live. The air twists into a whirlwind, the aura growing more terrifying every second. Shin's body becomes engulfed in a massive purple sphere. The monkey freezes in shock. The infinite darkness, which the Netherlord feared most, is inside this young man. Lilith also worries, wondering if the MC can really control such overwhelming power. Finally, the smoke clears, and our boy steps out carrying an unconscious but unharmed Shin in his arms. The divine baddie smiles, realizing that the MC actually did it. He gently places her by a tree stump and wraps her in a shield stolen from the Netherlord's power. Even though Shin cannot hear, he tells her to rest while the battle continues. Suddenly, laughter echoes through the smoke, and it turns out that the Predator is still alive. He emerges in his true form, stronger than before, and announces that fate has blessed him. Not only did he learn the gift of light's location, But now he also has a chance to seize infinite darkness. Raising his arms to the sky, he declares himself the chosen one. The MC replies that he is celebrating too soon. Half of his power has already been drained, so it's not possible for him to fight him. However, the Netherlord only grins. He never loses to the same trick twice. No matter how much is stolen, he will win. Turning to the monkey, he orders him to reveal his true form. The monkey obeys, smiling as he declares that his master, Lord Bath, is none other than the Lord of the Underworld. Here, in the graveyard of the guards, countless souls are enslaved, feeding the Netherlord's strength. That is why in this place he is invincible. Lilith frowns, realizing that they have underestimated him. However, the MC stands firm. If that is how it is, then the only thing they can do is to beat his ass. Meanwhile, deep inside the graveyard, Faye calmly walks through the forest with his bag slung over his shoulder as he brushes a tree. It shatters like a twig under the crushing weight of his aura. Ahead of him stands a giant boulder, but his presence alone splits it apart, leaving a massive hole as he continues toward the exit. Faye steps out, and the obstacle behind him shatters into pieces. He doesn't react as it's nothing new to him. What worries him more is the strange place he has ended up in. He walks all night but finds no way out. Suddenly, he sees hundreds of souls flying in one direction. Surprised, he thinks aloud that he has already dealt with them before. Maybe his lessons worked, and now these spirits are helping him escape. But in truth, these spirits are rushing towards the Netherlord. They answer his call, ready to feed him energy. The MC is shocked at how many there are, realizing the predator must have killed countless people. Lilith warns they can't let the Netherlord consume them, or they'll never win. But it's too late. The predator begins absorbing the souls, growing larger and fatter with their power. They both charge in, but the monkey blocks their path to buy his master time. The paladin doesn't hesitate. With speed far beyond the monkey's, she cuts him down in a single blow. He falls, defeated, but he has already delayed them. By the time they reach the Netherlord, the predator has devoured every soul. He swells into a massive sphere, cracks appearing across his body. Then he bursts, releasing a cloud of blue smoke. The MC can hardly believe it, wondering if the Netherlord just blew himself up. Lilith warns him not to relax. Sure enough, the predator emerges again, this time in the terrifying form of a soul absorber. He attacks without pause. Xiaobai reacts quickly. Raising the shield he stole earlier, he orders the girl to stay behind it as the explosion tears the ground apart, leaving a giant crater. Only the shield sphere keeps them alive, but even the shield begins to crack. He knows it's reaching its limit and tells Lilith to be ready to dodge the next attack. She glances at him, thinking he's new as a guard, yet somehow, in these critical moments, he's someone she can trust. The Netherlord hovers above, frustrated that his full strike failed. He senses he only has about 70 of his power, and he can't understand why. Suddenly the forest breaks with snapping trees, and Faye steps out. He calmly says he's tired of wandering in the dark and has finally found the way out. The Netherlord is shocked. He asks if this is the same fool who attacked him earlier. The master, still aura farming, ignores the insult and simply asks who he is. Amused, the Netherlord calls him stupid for forgetting so quickly. But the guy insists they've never met. Irritated, the predator demands to know what he did with his spirit slaves. Faye answers plainly if he means the forest souls. He taught them and prayed for their peace. He explodes in anger. Locking him away has cost him years of collected souls. In fury, he dives down and smashes him in the face, sending him flying. The master falls but never lets go of his bag, clearly carrying something precious. The Netherlord declares that even with 70 of his power, it's enough to crush the guards. But Faye rises calmly. Unfazed, he tells the predator his strike was weak, and that one day he'll show him true strength. But not now. He has no time, as he's in a hurry to reach the Celestial Court and uncover who harmed his student before he can leave. The squad arrives. The MC points at the Netherlord and says there's no need to go anywhere. The culprit is right here. He reveals that the predator not only possessed Fuji's body, but also dealt him a fatal wound. Luckily, Mu managed to save the boy. Faye thinks over the Netherlord's words, then asks if they met outside the arena. The predator replies that they did, though the master didn't recognize him at first. The predator grins, mocking him, saying it's no surprise since his head is empty. In that moment, Faye hurls his bag at the Netherlord. The predator blocks it with his hand, but instantly wrinkles his nose at the foul smell leaking out. He asks what's inside, but the master smashes him in the stomach with a heavy punch and calmly says it's just his spare underwear before the Netherlord can react. He kicks him in the face, sending the predator flying. Shocked, he wonders how a mere man could strike with such crushing force. A crimson fog begins to spread around the master as he focuses his power. With a roar, he releases his energy. His muscles pulse with strength as he declares that only he has the right to strike his student. Then, his aura takes the form of a dragon and launches straight at the Netherlord. Realizing the danger, the Netherlord braces himself, shouting that he will hold this power. The impact is devastating. When the dust clears, the Netherlord's body is torn, his living armor cracked. Furious, he admits Faye actually broke through. That armor, woven from human souls, could block 3 fatal blows, and now one has already been wasted. He trembles with anger, gathering energy and roaring that he enrages him beyond measure. Faye only grins and replies that the feeling is mutual. Meanwhile, far away at the peak of the sacred mountain, Mu's alarm rings for the 10th time. Annoyed, he smashes it with one swipe of his hand, half asleep in his spotted pajamas. Mu grumbles about the person who gifted him this alarm clock. He reluctantly gets out of bed, disappointed that morning has come, because he just wants to sleep more. Still, he begins his daily routine. After brushing his teeth and rinsing his mouth, he feels a little fresher. Then he sits on the toilet, sipping his favorite milk tea, and yells to his daughter, asking if breakfast is ready. She doesn't answer. After finishing, he wanders into the kitchen and finds breakfast on the table along with a note. In it, Yuan tells him to eat alone since she and Fuji will be away, so he shouldn't worry. He sighs, taking a bun for himself, muttering that his daughter is stubborn but clever. Meanwhile, Yuan's phoenix ship speeds through the sky toward the forest where Xiao Bai and the guards are fighting. On board are the MCS bodyguards and the village boy. Each person is lost in thought. Pinger worries for her master and Kodo, who risked their lives for Exian. The holy maiden can't believe she took this step, but deep down she fears he may already be dead. The stepsister fumes that he went with the katana girl and left her behind. The weapons girl suspects that the director may use this opportunity to attack them. Fuji, embarrassed by the company of so many beauties, secretly envies his luck with women. They soon reach the first battle site. The village boy is stunned at the flattened forest and asks if the katana girl caused such destruction. Pinger shakes her head, saying it doesn't look like her style. Just then they spot Kodo. Relieved, she lands beside her and demands to know where their master is and why they are apart. Kodo explains she is fine and the MC must be up front. From behind, Inu steps forward, the succubus who has been following her since their fight. Kodo asks why, reminding her that she had spared her life. The demon girl answers that she no longer seeks battle because she let her live, her path changed, and now she must bear that responsibility. Pinger is cautious since the demon girl looks like a predator, but her aura feels completely different. The katana girl confirms it, telling her that she is indeed a predator, but after losing, she did not die. Instead, she chose to follow. The secret lies in the stone inside her chest. Because of it, the succubus lost her memory. Yuan descends from the phoenix and interrupts the conversation, explaining that the stone carries the power of purification. She recalls hearing her father talk about this power, known as the gift of light. Kodo is shocked to learn that the artifact is inside her, but Yuan explains that Exian, in despair, hid it within her friend. Purification removes negative effects, but can also erase memory. That's why Inu has lost her bloodthirsty predator nature. Since she was once human, she is no longer a true predator at all. The maiden then gently invites the confused girl to join them. Meanwhile, atop the sacred mountain, Mu wakes up from his morning drowsiness and steps outside, wishing he could finally retire in peace, though life still refuses him rest. At the graveyard border, the battle rages on. Faye attacks furiously. His strikes are so fast that only crimson sparks flash in the air. When the Netherlord blocks them, Lilith launches divine attacks. But nothing works. Watching from the clearing, the MC grows uneasy, since earlier the Netherlord struggled against the Dragon Master, but now he has no problem defending against him and the divine baddie at once. Something is clearly wrong. The Netherlord suddenly gathers soul energy and unleashes a cursed explosion, knocking both of them back. Faye barely keeps his balance, and Lilith admits this is the first time she's seen anything like it. The Predator mocks them, asking if they wonder why his strength is growing. He claims it's natural because he's a predator, and humans can never compare. But the MC realizes the truth. The Netherlord has absorbed countless souls, and the longer the battle goes, the more their energy fuses into him, making him stronger. When our boy says this aloud, the Netherlord is surprised he figured it out, and asks how he figured it out since the power of evil spirits is extremely rare. Our boy smirks, telling him that he also has the power to control demons. Suddenly, 2 copies of him appear behind the Predator, but he wipes them out with a wave of energy. He then fires a deadly beam of souls straight through the MC's stomach, burning him from the inside. Faye and Lilith are horrified. Thinking he is dead, the Netherlord pulls him closer, saying hell absorb his soul. But then our boy lifts his head and asks why he thinks this is the real him. The dying figure vanishes, and it turns out that it was only a clone. The real Xiao Bai appears behind the Netherlord and uses his grab ability. Everything dissolves, and he finds himself trapped in a dark abyss, filled with countless staring eyes. Immobilized with fear, he thrashes helplessly. The other guards see the abyss too. Faye thinks it's an illusion, but Lilith explains these are the eyes of Azura, said to paralyze enemies with terror. She never imagined the MC had such power. Our boy admits he never wanted to use it, but the Netherlord left him no choice. If not killed, he would bring disaster. Gathering his demonic energy, our boy unleashes his true form. His clothes shred apart as a purple aura rises, forming 6 massive arms of Azura behind him. The killing intent radiating from him is stronger than that of any predator. Exhaustion flickers in his eyes, but he commands the Netherlord to leave the dungeon of fear. One colossal Azura hand smashes the Netherlord's face, slamming him into the ground and ejecting him from the abyss. The impact is brutal, breaking through another layer of his spiritual armor. The monster knows he can only die now. Furious that a mere human pushed him this far, he roars that he will kill him. But before he can act, the MC's fist smashes into him. Breaking his defense, he yells that this is not the end and tells the Netherlord to worry about himself. A storm of punches rains down on the Predator. He tries to block, but Azura's strength overwhelms him. With every blow, streams of trapped souls escape his body. Lilith gasps as she sees the souls of fallen warriors fleeing the Netherlord. They fear Azura more than they ever feared the Netherlord. Beaten and bleeding, the Netherlord staggers to his feet, but his wounds vanish instantly. The MC realizes he has destroyed the last of the Netherlord's spiritual shields. He shouts that now is the moment to strike. Faye gathers all his strength without hesitation and unleashes Tiger Cannon. A massive energy tiger charges at the Netherlord. Lilith joins in, declaring that he will pay for everything. Her blade cuts deep into him, while Faye's attack slams through. Together, the guards strike with full force, leaving him no chance. He breathes out and declares the battle finished. He avenges his student, saying he chose the wrong enemy. When the dust clears, the Netherlord's body is torn apart, an arm and leg severed, his torso split in half. Blood drips onto the ground, yet he refuses to collapse. Driven by the gifts of light and darkness within reach, he clings to life. But deep down, he knows he is lost. Finally, he crashes into the crater, vowing not to retreat, then goes still. The MC, drenched in sweat, can't believe they actually won. His Azura arms flicker and fade as exhaustion overtakes him. He closes his eyes, and when the power dissolves completely, he faints, falling through the air. Lilith rushes forward and catches him, blushing as his face ends up close to hers. Flustered, she looks away, secretly noticing how handsome he is. Faye interrupts the moment, teasing her about blushing. Lilith quickly denies it, pretending nothing happened. But he isn't fooled. He knows she can't lie. Our boy regains consciousness on the ground, realizing he must have blacked out from using too much energy. Just as relief starts to sink in, a dreadful thought hits him. Infinite darkness has not been activated. That means the Netherlord isn't dead. Panicked, the MC shouts for the guards to finish him quickly, but they are too late. The Netherlord's eyes snap open, and he fires a final beam straight at him. The energy blasts into his mouth and burns deep inside him. Horrified, Lilith realizes this is worse than they thought with his last breath. The Netherlord laughs and seizes control of the MCS body. Infinite darkness, Azura, and all of his powers now belong to him. His eyes shift, turning into the Netherlord's yellow pupils. The worst has happened. The Predator has taken over the MCS body. Lilith raises her sword. Filling it with divine power, she warns the Netherlord to leave Xiaobai's body or face her strike again, but he only grins. This is the best body he has ever had, and he no longer fears her blade. Lilith feels frustrated, knowing she cannot fight both infinite darkness and Azura at once. Just then, Faye steps forward. He tells Lilith to calm down. He has more experience with things like this, and he'll handle it. The paladin looks at him in disbelief and asks what he plans to do. The master charges in, fist ready, and says he'll simply smash him, but Azura's hand blocks the punch with ease. The master snarls that if his left fist is blocked, then his right will land. But that too is stopped. The monster mocks him, saying fists alone are useless against Azura's strength. Suddenly, Faye changes tactics. He strikes his head directly. Smoke bursts from the spot as Azura's hands vanish, and he collapses to the ground. He admits his fists may not beat the Netherlord, but his head is harder than both his hands combined. He lies unconscious, leaving the others uncertain what to do. Lilith is shocked at Faye's brutal method. She asks if, with all his knowledge, he knows how to pull the Predator out. The master admits he hasn't thought that far ahead. Maybe hitting him again would work. Lilith refuses. Then a figure steps into the clearing. Feng. He calmly advises against Faye's plan, saying blows won't make him leave. He explains the Netherlord is desperate, clinging to his last chance, and won't give up so easily. The master asks what Feng suggests. He replies there's only one way. They must rely on Xiaobai himself to destroy him from within. Inside his mind, the battle begins. The Netherlord is shocked that he was beaten by mere guards. But if he wins here, he will keep the MCS body forever. Our boy smirks, unafraid, and calls him all talk. He punches the Netherlord straight in the face, saying there are no powers here, only fists. He shouts that he will drive him out and reclaim his body. The Netherlord recovers, counterattacks with a kick, and sneers that our boy is too young, still with milk on his lips, to challenge a predator thousands of years old. Outside, the guards watch his motionless body. Lilith admits he has already proven himself extraordinary. Without him, the mission would have failed. But she worries because now he faces a predator on a spiritual level, and they cannot help him. Feng smiles faintly, saying all they can do is wait and see who is stronger. Faye asks what if the Netherlord wins. Feng answers grimly, then his soul is gone, and their duty as guards is to kill him. Inside the spiritual world, the Netherlord taunts that the MC is inexperienced. Here, abilities don't matter, only the strength of spirit counts. He asks what he can do without Azura or infinite darkness. The MC thanks him for the reminder. He remembers when he couldn't even move his arms, when his body felt impossible to control, yet he still fought to survive. Suddenly, his energy shifts and grows immense from the abyss. Giant spiritual eyes appear. The Netherlord is stunned, unable to believe such power is real. For the first time, fear takes hold. He declares that he doesn't understand the hardships he endured. This body was earned through struggle, and he will never let anyone steal it from him. The Netherlord shouts that he isn't afraid. The monster has done this millions of times and has never lost in the spiritual world. So he believes he will win again, but his giant spiritual hand crashes down on him. The Netherlord struggles to resist, swearing no one will ruin his name. He tells him not to be arrogant. Suddenly, he feels crushing pressure. His spirit starts breaking apart. He realizes he can't handle his power. In the real world, he rises into the air, wrapped in a glowing purple aura. Faye is shocked to see him floating, but Feng explains calmly it's the sign of a battle between him and the predator. Soon they'll see who wakes up. Then someone rushes into the clearing. It's the director. He points his sword at him and says he doesn't care who wins. The Netherlord killed his men, and he always gets in the way. Now he has the perfect chance to kill both. The guards are stunned by his appearance. He strikes and blood spills on the ground. But it isn't the blood of our MC, it's Lilith's. She blocks the sword with her hand, saving him. She admits she felt someone following them since they left the celestial court, but didn't expect the director to strike now. Stern-faced, she asks why he wants to kill him. He replies that she risks herself for the boy, but even strength guards shouldn't trust him. Better to kill him before the predator can claim infinite darkness. Her grip tightens until his blade snaps in her bloody hand. Furious, she declares he is wrong. The MC will not lose, and if he dares to touch him after he wakes, hell regret it. Meanwhile, in the spirit world, he finishes the fight. His body glows as his clothes dissolve into thin air. Lilith suddenly hears his voice thanking her, and she blushes. She turns and sees him shirtless. His riz makes her uneasy, and she almost falls for him. He asks about her injured hand to her. He looks more handsome than anyone she's ever seen. Embarrassed, she admits it hurts a little. He tears his clothes and wraps her hand, saying it's not much, but it will do. She tells him not to worry so much. She's a paladin and can take care of herself. Still, she can't hide her flustered face. Faye and Feng watch the scene, surprised. The master jokes that he was ready to bury him, but it's cool, he won after all. Even the blonde guy is shocked. His own ability never made the divine baddie blush, yet he did it so easily. The director, on the other hand, insists he only survived by luck. He turns to the director and asks why he won't leave him alone. The director insists he must kill the Netherlord, but it's clear he only wants him dead. He challenges him to settle their grudge once and for all. He takes a step back, unsettled by the MCS aura, and guesses it's because he absorbed the Netherlord's power. He taunts him. If the director wanted to kill him so badly, why hesitate now? The director makes an excuse, saying strength guards can't duel without at least 10 witnesses, or Count Dracula will punish him. At that moment, Pinger lands and accuses him of killing people for experiments. She tells him he can't escape justice this time. Soon, all of his friends gather with the 3 guards, 10 witnesses in total. He is surprised by their support. While he looks frustrated that his excuse no longer works, Fuji spots his mentor, Faye, among the guards. Shocked, he says he thought he was dead. He laughs, claiming no one could kill him. He tosses a smelly bag at the village and jokes that since he showed up, he can carry the laundry. Feng, meanwhile, watches with interest, curious to see what happens when he challenges in strength guard. Realizing he has no choice, the director accepts the duel. He calls out to Vanessa, asking for her sword since Lilith broke his. He explains he only wants a weapon for a fair fight. He then asks Lilith for her sword too. She's surprised, reminding him he has never fought with one, and that the director is as skilled as she is. He calmly replies that he wants to defeat him in his own field. He's confident. He's practiced his techniques many times, and the Netherlord's soul energy still strengthens him. He assures her not to worry. The 2 enemies prepare for their decisive battle. The director admits he always knew this day would come, though not so soon. He warns that he has no idea of his true ability. A green aura flares around him as he activates his power. His body transforms into his younger self. Long black hair, sharp blue eyes, the appearance of a man at his peak of 27. It's his strength ability, memory, restoring his youth. The team reacts differently. Faye jokes about Lee's good hair in the past, while Fuji laughs that it shows how badly old age can ruin looks. Lilith, however, grows serious. This is the first time she's seen the director use his ability, proof that he considers him a real threat. He wonders if the director's sight has also returned, but he's ready regardless. He mocks him, saying this might be all his ability can do. He snaps back that 27 was his strongest age, and now he will face that power. Suddenly he vanishes with incredible speed. Pinger and Yuan can't follow his movements at all. He circles him like a blur and appears behind him, declaring the fight is over. But he is ready. He swiftly blocks the strike. Shockingly, the old man can't believe he matched his speed. He explains that by absorbing the Netherlord's 1,000 souls, his power has multiplied. He can now see Lee's every move. Lilith blushes again, reassured by his confidence. She realizes he had calculated everything from the start and feels she can rely on him. While the director expects only swordplay, he begins gathering purple energy spheres. No rule forbids using every ability, and he intends to finish this fight his way. He fires spheres of energy at Lee, but the old man dodges at full speed. He leaps away and realizes he has set energy traps for himself. The director knows if his eyesight isn't fully back, he will lose this fight. He slams his sword into the ground, cracking it as stones rise into the air. Swinging his blade, He says he is too cruel for someone so young. The director hurls the stones at him, but he gathers air into his mouth and releases a powerful sound wave. Our boy says that he won't be dealing with him with gentle hands anymore. The wave smashes through the stones, reducing them to dust. Pinger watches in awe, a little flustered by his strength. Kodo, too, realizes that he has grown far stronger during this mission. Gripping his sword, he tells the director to face the truth, that even in his youth, he is no match for him. Enraged, the director insists he is enshranked guard of the Celestial Court and will never lose to a mere rank. He claims he only needs one hand to end this fight. Both charge at each other, blades flashing from the outside. It looks like he strikes the director with one blow. Yuan gasps at his incredible speed, and Lucy can't even tell who won. He kneels with his blade, blood pouring from a cut across his chest. The director stands without a scratch until a deeper wound suddenly appears on his arm. His sword hand is severed, and his pupils turn white. It's Azura's evil eye. He used it to freeze his opponent's movements and block the strike. The director falls to his knees, unable to continue. He can't believe he has lost. The team cheers at the victory, relieved that the battle seems over. Faye teases Fuji, asking why these kids are so strong while his student is so weak. Lilith rushes to him, worried by the deep wound across his chest. She blushes as she offers to heal him, but he stops her, saying it isn't finished. Struggling to stand, he accuses the director of turning his own subordinates into predators and even experimenting on himself. He reveals that agony is the reagent used to create artificial predators. He warns the director not to fake his death, since he's already seen that trick. The old man laughs bitterly, admitting he never expected to lose here. He declares that his goal is to unite humans and predators, and for that, he must kill them. He insists everything he has done is for the Celestial Court. Suddenly, an explosion erupts, like the sphere the director used to restore his youth, but far stronger. The air reeks of blood. He is shocked by the power, and Pinger recognizes it as the same dreadful pressure she felt when facing the god of thunder, only more intense. Vanessa prays for the old man to surrender, but when the sphere clears, something monstrous appears. It is no longer the director, but an artificial predator born of his own experiments. A massive creature covered in eyes, with hair like black threads burrowing into the earth, looms before them. Yuan stares in horror, unable to believe this is the director. Fuji is speechless. This monster looks even worse than a spiritual-level predator. Even Inu, once a predator herself, finds it disgusting. The abomination opens its mouth and slowly speaks his name. Then, with all its eyes glaring at him, it growls that it wants him dead. From behind him, Feng's voice rings out. He says that even though he didn't plan to get involved, he can't just stand by and watch the director in his current state. Master Fei clenches his fists, fully agreeing. He mocks the director, saying that as a celestial guard he has fallen too low. He warns that if the director doesn't back down, he won't hold back either. But the director ignores him, only calling out the hero's name over and over. This makes Fei furious. He shouts for him to stop screaming someone else's name. Our boy quickly steps forward. Realizing what's happening, they explain that the director has lost all his senses, which is probably a side effect of his transformation. Even so, he keeps remembering the MCS name, which shows his deep obsession with killing him. Mo Yen arrives, confirming their theory. She says the director's experiment has failed. This is the first time she's seen him like this. Fei interrupts, saying the only solution is to kill him, and he's good at that. As they talk, the director's body becomes unstable. The large eye on his chest gives off a sinister feeling, and suddenly, a beam of light fires at the master. The director continues calling out for the MC. As he narrowly dodges, he leaps forward and throws a punch, demanding respect as the director's superior. But the director just flicks his hand, sending him flying backward with terrifying force. Now the director is so massive he can be seen from far away. His eyes scan the ground like a mechanical giant, and he roars at the MC, vowing to kill them all. He unleashes laser beams and explosions everywhere, forcing everyone to dodge. Yuan is hit and falls, but just as a beam is about to hit her, her dad appears. He cuts through the director's attack and shields her. She cries out in joy. Mu reassures her, saying that she doesn't need to be afraid with him here. But while Mu protects his daughter, the other celestial guards aren't so lucky. The director's wild blasts injure many, knocking them down. His mouth spits curses, endlessly screaming for everyone to die. Big Daddy finally calls out to him, and the director freezes, all his eyes turning toward him. He scolds him harshly for his appearance and mocks his obsession to everyone's shock. The director trembles, still afraid of him. Even without reason or consciousness, the MC explains that this must be a pure survival instinct. Mu grabs a huge piece of wood. Tearing it from the ground like a spear, he reminds the director that since he hurt his daughter, he can no longer hold back. Feng watches in awe, realizing this is the legendary strength of the strongest guard. Leaping into the air with the wooden spear, Mu demands that the director apologize to his daughter. The giant eye on the director's chest fires, but Mu knocks him down instead, flipping his monstrous body backward. Even Faye can't help but admire Mu's fighting style, since it's only a basic strike, yet its power is overwhelming. The blonde guy finally witnesses the true power of the rank 2 Celestial Guard. Meanwhile, his daughter's eyes shine with pride as she gazes at her father, only to be surprised when a green shield suddenly surrounds them all. She wonders aloud about the protective circle, and the MC calmly explains that it was their barrier. Urging everyone to stay back, he reminds Lilith to focus on the wounded, though she quickly responds that the one who most needs the treatment is him. The director steadies his massive body and lifts his head. Mu gives him no respite, driving the wooden spear straight into the huge eye on his chest. He warns that if he has not regained his sanity, this strike will serve as a reminder with blinding speed. He spins around the towering body, striking relentlessly. Feng, watching from afar, turns pale, unable to even follow the movements. By the time the whirlwind ends, every single eye on the director's body is pierced and destroyed, leaving him convulsing in unbearable agony. Even the MC watches in awe. Mu reminds the director that they were once colleagues, and for that reason, he will not take his life. Instead, he urges him to take it himself, but the director moves again. Wild energy surges above his head, his unstable power threatening to erupt. The wave of destruction surges straight at Mu. Yuan cries out in fear, calling for her father. Yet her dad remains calm, placing a single blade of grass between his lips with a flick. He counters the deadly force. Everyone stands frozen in disbelief. A blade of grass has stopped the devastating attack, not only blocking it but piercing through the energy itself. It shoots skyward, trailing light and tears through the director's head. His monstrous body collapses lifelessly. Mu sighs, lamenting the path the director has taken. If he had not strayed, he might have become a powerful celestial guard. With the battle concluded, he turns to the team and asks why they are standing there, whether they still need something. Embarrassed, Feng and the others hastily assure him they do not. Mu accepts this with a shrug, explaining he has more pressing matters to attend to. Yuan calls after him in confusion, wondering if he truly intends to leave without even acknowledging her. He turns back with an unusually serious expression, only to complain that a shop is offering milk tea at half price that day. With such an important matter at hand, he leaves his daughter in the MC's care. Dark clouds fade as fragments of the director's energy drift down like the first snow of winter. Xiaobai catches some in his hand, noting its richness. Lilith urges him to absorb it and grow stronger, but he blows it away instead, shocked. She asks why he would waste so much power. He explains that he has already consumed 10,000 souls from the Netherlord, and his body cannot digest anymore. Besides, the energy rightfully belongs to Mu, and it would not be proper to claim it. No one presses the matter further. More than a month later, dawn light streams into Xiaobei's home. As he wakes, he feels a weight pressing on him. Rubbing his eyes, he opens them and freezes. The demon girl is lying on top of him, her chest pressed against him, flushing. He trembles and tells her to have some self-restraint. But she only smiles knowingly. Even with the gift of light, her predatory desires have not faded. She admits she cannot hold herself back any longer. Confessing she waited outside all night for this moment, she slips through the window just to be near him. The MC's throat goes dry as turmoil fills his mind. Though she has regained part of her humanity, her habits have only grown worse. If he lets her continue, the seal within him will activate and he will lose control. She makes her move. First her hands slide over the place where his wound had healed during the past month, the scar only adding to his rugged, mature charm, forcing himself to act. He suddenly sits up, angry and determined not to let things go further. He warns her she's playing with fire and that she needs to be more careful. Before the tension can grow, the window swings open with a gust of wind. Kodo enters the room and drives her sword down in warning. She accuses the demon girl of sneaking into Xiao Bei's room. The moment she let her guard down, she threatens to cut her down again if necessary. Startled, the demon girl immediately retreats and explains she only came to call him, not to seduce him. Relieved, the MC feels as though he has just been rescued. Turning to him, she reminds him of the day's importance. The MC straightens his back, acknowledging that today is the ceremony where Dracula promotes him to rank. The demon girl, the last to learn of this, reacts with surprise. She guesses it must be related to his part in exposing the director, but he explains it isn't so simple. He admits he and Kodo played a role in that matter, but his only goal was survival. The one who truly defeated the director was Mr. Mu. For that reason, he feels his promotion to rank is more than he deserves. Later, at the Celestial Court, Dracula's grand mansion towers before them. A monk arrives early, admiring the castle's scale, but is stopped by guards who explain an important conference is about to begin. Xiao Bai arrives just in time to overhear. Recognizing the monk's unusual aura, he invites him to enter together. The monk accepts politely, introducing himself as Master Ku Wu, a retired 4th-rank Steer Celestial Guard. The guards realize with shock that this is the legendary Grandmaster Ku Wu, who has remained absent from public affairs for years. Walking into the hallway side by side, the two of them talk briefly. The Grandmaster dismisses the grandeur of Dracula's home, saying a house is only meant for living in. Then, as if in passing, he asks about Kodo. Surprised, Xiao Bai confirms she is doing well. The old man reveals that he and the katana girl are old friends. Before they can continue, a woman's voice rings out. It is Yi Bai Umo, the leader of the MT, Shu Sword Sect and Ensrank Celestial Guard, also widely known as the Sword Princess. Perched on her sacred sword, she mocks our boy, listing his achievements and questioning whether he truly deserves the fame. She suddenly challenges him and orders him to reveal his abilities in front of her. Without waiting for his reply, she summons a storm of flying swords, attacking without mercy. The MC braces himself, shocked by her seriousness, but Master Ku Wu strikes a bell, scattering her weapons effortlessly. He assures him that there is no need to worry, since he will protect him. Even our Gunner boy is shocked at how calmly the old man deflected that attack. The girl asks him not to interfere, but he mentions that the boy is getting promoted today, so they should maintain peace. The girl is unconvinced and prepares to strike again, but is intercepted by Lilith, who arrives at the gate with her sword drawn. She warns her not to lay a hand on the MC. The two women glare at each other with their swords out. Yuma walks a bit closer and says that she was just messing around with him. She asks what type of relationship he has with the MC. Questioning if she actually likes her, Lilith gets a bit flustered and dismisses it before both girls can clash. Something suddenly holds them in place. The Grandmaster quietly watches this and realizes why even Dracula respects the MC. To calm them both down, our boy uses the demon god's power and holds them in place using his giant arms. The girls continue to argue despite being trapped in the hands. The MC asks the Grandmaster if the girls have some past beef between them. He explains that they are not from Star City, but from countries that are hostile to each other. This is a surprise for our boy since he thought Star City was the only country left. The Master further reveals that the population of those countries is decreasing steadily, though some of them have managed to survive by depending on the capital for weapons and supplies. The strongest fighter from the country needed to be a guard in order to receive this support, and this is where Lilith came from, as she was the most powerful in the Western Night Kingdom. On the other hand, Yuma came from a mysterious eastern country where she was known as the Sword Princess. Before the quarrel can escalate, Count Dracula herself appears in a crimson coat. The sheer force of her presence shatters Xiao Bai's Azura hand technique in an instant. Even the strongest rank guards fall quiet, realizing the vast gap between her power and theirs. Our boy wonders if she is on the same level as Mu. Above, the thundering blades of a helicopter announce another arrival. She steps out of the helicopter and looks at the guards standing in front of her, asking why they are here since none of them is getting promoted. Suddenly she glances at our boy, who panics, wondering if she holds a grudge against her since he defeated her beloved son. Dracula, unbothered, announces that since everyone is present, the ceremony can begin. At that moment, Xiaobai leans closer to Lilith, whispering that his earlier harshness toward her had been only to prevent matters from worsening. She stammers that it is fine, though inside she feels elated. Convinced this marks a new step forward between them, the ceremony regains its serious mood. As Dracula speaks, he announces two main matters. First, he praises the MC for reclaiming the gift of light and solving the problem with Director Liu. Because of this, he promotes him to rank 10 among the level celestial guards. At the same time, Longyan, who currently holds rank 10, is promoted to rank 9. Dracula asks if anyone objects. None of the girls has any objections. Even the Sword Princess knows that he is strong, but she still needs to see his power, so she raises her hand in objection. She argues that celestial guards must protect not just Starplace, but also the smaller countries around it. And Slevel Guardian represents their strongest force, so how can her people feel safe if a newcomer holds such a position? Dracula answers calmly, telling her that 3 Slevel guards, Lilith, Feng and Fei, have already verified his strength. Still, Yumo refuses to accept it. She demands proof that the people of her county can see with their own eyes. Dracula asks what it would take for her to acknowledge him. She says he must follow her to Princess County and break the teenage girls chanting sword array in public. Only then will she recognize his status. Our boy doesn't like the sound of this one bit. Lilith warns him that the Sword Princess is making things difficult. The sword formation is Princess County's supreme defense. Even she might not be able to break. The MC agrees, since the name also sounds kind of weird, and hopes that Dracula won't accept the request. But to everyone's shock, Dracula does the opposite. He declares that if doubts have been raised, then Xiaobai must indeed go and break the formation to prove his strength. The divine baddie thinks that he is surely walking into the tiger's den. Yuma, however, smiles with hunger in her eyes, already plotting to devour him. When he arrives, Dracula waves the matter aside and moves to the second issue, the true reason for the gathering. He leads everyone into the main hall. The MC realizes that his promotion wasn't the main reason and wonders what it could be inside. They find a corpse. The sword girl quickly recognizes him as Lei Jun, and a rank celestial guard known as Blast Spark. Judging by his wounds, he was killed by a single perfect strike. Dracula urges her to touch the wound. She does so and instantly feels a chilling force enter her consciousness. Her face pales in fear as she realizes it's the killing ruler. Dracula confirms that he thought the man long dead, but clearly he has returned. Xiaobai doesn't know who this killing ruler is, but seeing Yuma so shaken proves that things are serious. She explains that the killing ruler is not one man, but 5. Each is extremely dangerous and hunted across the lands. The one who killed Lei Jun is the strongest among them. Once he was even part of the Celestial Guards, but he betrayed them, killing his comrades. This revelation leaves everyone uneasy. Meanwhile, at the borders of the state of women, 4 cloaked figures confront a tattooed swordsman in meditation. They ask if he killed Lei Jun. This man is one of the rulers named Abia, and he boldly admits it, saying the man stood in his way. One warns him that killing a Celestial Guard will cause trouble, but he ignores them, saying that he only wants to reclaim what belongs to him. The first thing he intends to take back is the monster sword held safely in Star City. After the meeting, as the MC and Lilith prepare to leave, the Grandmaster Ku Wu stops them. He asks our boy to deliver a message to the Katana girl, inviting her to visit a temple he built in his hometown. He agrees politely. Yuma cuts in, reminding him not to forget his promise. As he still has to face the teenage girls chanting sword array, our boy simply replies he won't run away. An hour later, he joins the sword girl on a holy sword heading toward the state of women. She talks endlessly, explaining its history. The place is unique, home only to women, and she teases that this is the first time she's ever brought a man back. The MC stays silent, leaving her secretly annoyed. Our boy is locked in, wondering why the old master is so interested in the katana girl. Suddenly, the sword girl presses closer, wrapping her arms around him and comparing herself to Lilith. Irritated, our boy pushes her away, but she grows bolder, using her sword spirit to drag him into the river. After the splash, he stabilizes himself and sees the stunning scenery of the country of women. On the shore, curious young women gather, whispering and pointing at him as if they've never seen a man before. They wonder why he doesn't have any milkers just from his first 5 seconds in this country. Our boy knows he has finally walked into heaven. Yumo rises proudly on her sword, greeted with cheers by her disciples. The MC, still underwater, notices how quickly her playful attitude shifts into that of a commanding leader. She wastes no time and orders her disciples to capture the man in the holy lake, so she can interrogate him that very night. The disciples obey at once, but when they actually lay eyes on the MC in the water, they all lose their minds. Many of them tremble, whispering in disbelief that he is truly a man. Some have never seen one before, and others mutter that the absence of a chest proves it. The girls grow restless as they stare. A few blush, admitting to themselves that just one glance stirs their hearts. Others confess they can't look away, wondering if all men are this extraordinary, though their orders are to capture him. Many secretly think it would be better to let everyone admire him instead. Yuma, already expecting such a reaction, quickly seizes control. She coldly warns them not to be fooled by his appearance, declaring that while the man has returned with her, he has constantly coveted her along the way, groping and flirting shamelessly. Our Gunner boy nearly chokes with anger underwater, insisting it is the other way around, but his protests hold no weight here. It is her country, and her words are law, so the disciples react with outrage. To them, the thought that anyone would dare touch their leader is unforgivable. They curse men as shameless fools and demand that he be arrested, humiliated, and cast back into the river. The MC sighs silently, wondering if these women can really be so easily deceived. The so-called arrest drags on until midnight. Blindfolded and tied, he is led beneath the moonlight by 2 disciples. When he tries to ask where they are taking him, they silence him at once, repeating Yumo's warning that men are dangerous, and that with their weak cultivation, they must keep their distance. Eventually, they leave him bound near a lotus pond, announcing that the Grandmaster will see him herself. He frees himself without any problems and wonders why the sword girl would do all this, removing the blindfold. Weary from the long day, he hears the soft sound of water nearby and creeps behind a stone. There, under the moonlight, he peeks at the sword girl as she bathes in the lake. Without even looking at him, she asks how long he is going to watch her. He hurries to explain, insisting he hasn't meant to spy, that he hasn't known she was bathing there, and that she should forgive him. Hearing this, the girl tries to tease him further, saying that now he has seen her naked, so he should take responsibility. The girl asks him why he is so quiet, and if he will run off to get milk when it's his turn to take responsibility. Our boy knows that he just got caught lacking, so he asks her what she wants him to do. She smiles faintly, telling him not to worry. The girl assures him that she isn't forcing him to marry her. All he has to do is sleep with her tonight. Our boy sees right through her and realizes that this has been her plan all along. She knew she couldn't force him, so she tricked him into coming here with the disciples. He admits that it's a good plan, but my man is in no mood to do nasty things with her. The MC asks if she has ever heard of Gecko Zynober. However, he soon realizes that she is still naked. His face burns as he quickly looks away, stammering that she should put on clothes before they continue talking. Instead of retreating, she steps forward, pulling him close. Caught off guard, his face turns bright red without warning. She closes her eyes and kisses him. Our boy forgets everything he was about to say. Time slips away unnoticed. Only the lake, the stars, and the couple remain, locked in their embrace, while fish swim quietly beneath the water. When she asks if he's unwell, he quickly insists that he's fine. She laughs as she thinks to herself how nervous he is over a single kiss. Before the moment can go further, the sky erupts with a golden beam of light. The MC stares in shock, asking what it is. The sword girl recognizes it as a distress signal and explains that it must mean a predator is attacking. She rushes to go save her people, but he blocks her path with his arm. Without even looking at her, he asks her to put on her clothes first and leave the predator to him. Meanwhile, chaos spreads across the country of women. Thick black smoke rises like a burning house. Screams echo in every direction, and people flee in panic as the mountain gate is breached. One of the girls struggles to keep up with the crowd. She pants heavily, calling for others to wait for her, but she stumbles and falls painfully on the street. Lying there, Helpless and terrified, she sees a looming shadow drawing closer. The predator chasing her is Lord Wild Boar, and it's a devil-level predator. Tan trembles on the ground, begging it not to come closer, but the pig ignores her pleas, lowering its face near hers and mentions that she has a good figure. The boar stares at her with a freaky look on his face and asks if she would like to be his wife. The girl is so afraid that she can't even talk. The pig takes this as a yes and grows more excited, but suddenly a brilliant purple beam shoots down from the sky. It strikes its tongue, making it howl in agony. When it looks again, it realizes there is now a gaping hole pierced through the middle of its tongue. Our boy looks at him with a cold expression and mocks that even pigs nowadays seem to know about marriage. He positions himself in front of the trembling girl, telling her not to be afraid and promising to deal with the pig. She finally recognizes him, stunned that the man who saved her is the same lecher their leader once captured. Furious, the pig lifts its mace, bellowing that no brat can meddle in its business. It slams the weapon down with violent force, cursing and roaring that anyone who dares block its way must die. Blow after blow shakes the ground, dust rising in clouds. When it finally stops to look, only deep craters remain and the MC is nowhere in sight. Convinced it has crushed him to death, the pig laughs, boasting that this is what happens when humans defy it. It points to the girl again, declaring that not only she but every young girl will belong to him. His delusions are soon shattered when our boy gets back up and punches the shit out of him again. In an instant, its massive head snaps off and its giant body collapses to the ground. Despite being 10 times smaller, the MC stands tall on the pig's corpse. The girl watches him in awe as this pig had killed more than a dozen gatekeepers, yet he destroyed it with one punch. He quickly turns to her, asking if she is hurt. She studies him curiously, saying he doesn't seem like the bad man their leader claimed. She wants to know who he really is. He smiles with confidence and introduces himself as Xiaobai, a newly promoted celestial guard. Hearing his name, she cries out in joy, realizing he is the one who defeated the director. Her cheeks flush, her whole face glowing as if she has met a hero. Meanwhile, our boy awkwardly stares at her since he has no idea why she is reacting this way. The MC assesses the destruction seriously, noting that the night is far from over. Turns out that hundreds of predators are attacking the state. As if to confirm her words, an army of skeletal monsters suddenly appears along with their boss, the skeleton lord. It demands to know if the MC is the one who killed the boar. Our boy replies without hesitation that he did. The skeletal heads scream in rage, ordering their subordinates to tear him apart. Immediately, waves of bone creatures charge forward. Xiaobai's veins pulse with power as he clenches his fists. He tells the girl to hide behind him, and she obeys at once with both hands raised. He faces the incoming horde, mocking them. So many enemies rushing at him. Yet to him, they are nothing more than weak shrimp. He provokes them, daring them to come. Then he releases a massive sphere of purple energy. The skeletal monsters, with nothing but bones and no brains to think, charge straight into the trap. The attack sweeps over them, burning everything to ash. The skeleton is struck down as well, barely holding himself up, trembling in pain. A long path of destruction lies before him. Everything incinerated except a single corpse. Our boy looks at the aftermath of the explosion, and wonders if he went a bit overboard. Even the girl is worried and says that he might have to pay for the damages. Meanwhile, on a mountain near the country, a cloaked figure observes the mysterious, declares that their intelligence was right since infinite darkness is really here. Behind him, a beautiful woman with a seductive aura speaks. She is Zhang Tianyu, one of the 5 killing rulers. Resting her hand on her hip, she asks if she should capture the man now. The old man shakes his head, telling her that it's not time yet. She teases him, saying he's calm only because of Yuma. His expression hardens as he warns her not to underestimate that woman. By the age of 18, she became the leader of the sect and dominated the country. In his eyes, her skill matches even the strongest swordsman from Star City, and when it comes to courage and spirit, she is unmatched. Meanwhile, predators continue to wreak havoc across the state as they charge forward, destroying everything. They suddenly notice a woman standing in their path. It's none other than the Sword Princess. She looks around at her fallen citizens and announces that, as a guard of the state, she will kill them all. The predators laugh at her threat. One known as the Golden Saber Lord hefts a massive blade and mocks her. With tens of thousands of brothers behind him, He asks her if she really thinks she can take them down. Bro even sends a marriage proposal her way. But before he finishes, her sword flashes, slicing him open. Blood sprays, and he collapses. Stunned by the realization that she is the leader of the sword sect, she cuts him down again without hesitation, leaving the others frozen in fear. All the other predators start to panic as they realize that the leader of the sword sect is here. However, it is too late for them to run as she starts chopping away. Her movements are too fast for them to follow. The predators at the back don't even know what is going on. Suddenly, they all start shouting to retreat, but the sword princess shows no mercy and continues swinging her until every last one of them is dead. Terrified, they retreat, but she doesn't let them escape. Her sword follows them like death itself, cutting through anyone who lingers. By the end, she stands in the middle of a battlefield littered with corpses. In total, she has killed over 18,271 predators all by herself. When she finally begins to relax, she hears some footsteps, and our boy walks in, commending her for the performance. She doesn't take it positively, as she thinks it's her fault that the predators made it this far into the state. Moreover, there are still predators looming around, so she doesn't have time to waste here. Before she can leave, our boy grabs her by the wrist, which makes her blush a bit. He assures her that she doesn't have to go back since he has already dealt with the threat and all the injured people are being treated right now. She stares at him in disbelief, thinking to herself, how could someone who had only arrived today manage all this in such a short time? Before she can say anything, he asks her to follow him. She asks in confusion where he is going. Our boy looks back with a cold expression and tells her that they are going to destroy the home. She insists she can't leave yet. As the leader of the state of women, she has a duty to her disciples and can't just abandon the mountain without settling things before she can finish. He cuts in. He knows what she's worried about. First, she fears that if she leaves with him, the country will be open to attack. Second, she's not sure how they can even find the predator's hideout in such rough terrain. Her cheeks flush because he's exactly right. For a moment, she wonders if he can read minds. But he laughs softly, explaining that it was easy to guess. He says her desire to protect the country isn't wrong, but sometimes you gotta risk it for the biscuit. Puzzled, she frowns, not remembering any of her elders teaching that. Then, lifting 4 fingers, he promises to give her 4 reasons why she has to go with him. He first explains that the predator team has already failed and won't be back soon. Even if others try to take advantage of the chaos, her being in the country of women would be enough to scare them off. Second, he says both sides are weakened from the battle and the enemy will think they're resting if they strike now. The predators could be crushed before they recover. His reasoning gives her new ideas. Third, he reveals that he purposely spared a small monster earlier, and his clone has tracked it to their den. Fourth, he reminds her that while predators hunt in packs, they usually prey on weaker beings. Such a big attack is unusual, which means there has to be a deeper reason behind it. Finally, with a gentle smile, he leaves the choice to her. Still, he urges her to set aside her burdens for once and follow her heart, reminding her that she also wants to destroy the one behind all the suffering. His words hit her hard, and a faint smile touches her lips as she admits to herself that she underestimated him. She finally agrees to his plan, and the two decide to teach the predators a lesson they won't ever forget. Meanwhile, in the predators' hideout, one of them is on his knees, trembling with fear. He promises that he saw the sword princess making her way to Star City, but for some reason, she cannot go back too soon. Bro knows he is about to get clapped, so he starts begging for his life, but before he can finish, sharp feathers shoot out from the cave, piercing his body and pinning him to the wall. He dies instantly from the shadows. A demon baddie walks in, telling him that his intelligence was wrong and it cost them thousands of deaths in a single night. This girl turns out to be a god-level predator named Peng. Rage twists her face as she declares that killing him 10,000 times wouldn't calm her hatred with a single swipe of her claws. Both his body and the stone wall behind him are carved with deep gashes. His life ends in an instant. She stares at her claws and admits to herself that she wants nothing more than to cut the sword princess down with a single strike right now. But before she can think further, a massive fist suddenly slams against the wall of her cave. Shaking the entire place, our boy appears through the hole and excitedly declares that he has finally found her. She is shocked to see him, as she didn't think there'd be a man in the state of women. Glaring, she demands to know who he is and how he tracked her down in such a remote mountain. He only smiles, telling her not to be so tense since he was just leading the way and there is someone else she needs to worry about. Before he can finish, a sword shoots forward from behind him like lightning, aimed straight at her. She reacts instantly, spreading her wings as a shield. But the blade still pierces one wing and throws her against the wall. This makes her panic, as she would have died if she hadn't put up her wings faster. Even so, she knows she can't lose face. Forcing down her fear, she shouts that they dare cause trouble in her domain and demands to know who they are, but our sword princess is in no mood for chit-chat. She simply announces her name, which fills the demon girl with rage since she also wanted to take revenge on her. Yuma coldly retorts that it's the other way around and immediately unleashes a devastating sword strike. The sword energy rips through the land, slicing an entire distant hill in half like it's nothing but jelly. The demon girl starts sweating as she witnesses her power and realizes that she can't fight her. Thinking instantly, she decides to take the battle to the sky since the sword princesses might not be able to use their full powers in the air. Moreover, she can also escape to her brother's place in order to retrieve the magic weapon and gather more predators while she is busy dreaming. She feels a strange weight pushing her body down. Looking down, the girl notices Arguner boy holding on to her for dear life. Furious, she curses him for sneaking up on her and demands he let go. He only replies with an innocent look, saying he has been there for a while. His grip only tightens as he mischievously presses closer and starts draining her energy using his infinite darkness ability at once. She feels her strength fading, her body trembling with weakness and heat. Unable to control herself, unable to hold herself in the air, she crashes down through the forest, hitting the ground with an explosion that shakes the trees. When she opens her eyes again, she finds herself bound tightly against a large tree. Too exhausted to move, our boy watches her with a grin, clearly proud of his achievement. Yuma is a bit worried and admits that in all her years, she has never seen anyone tied in such a way and wonders where he learned it. Our boy nervously scratches his head, saying he picked it up from television and that it isn't important as he studies the woman. He realizes that although she is a god-level predator, her actual strength is no greater than Yinya's. Organizing such a large predator army on her own seems impossible, so he concludes she is nothing more than a pawn used by someone else. With confidence and pride, he declares himself skilled in interrogation and assures the others that they only need to watch from what she's seen so far. The sword princess doesn't really believe this statement. Meanwhile, he continues slapping the girl, urging her to wake up and accusing her of pretending since he hasn't even drained all of her strength. She finally opens her eyes to see herself tied down and cries out in anger, demanding to know what he intends to do with her. He only grins wickedly and tells her not to worry. He insists that if she reveals who ordered the attack on the state of women, he will not make things difficult. She refuses stubbornly, sweating and insisting she will never betray her orders. He responds by slamming his palm against a tree and laughing darkly, telling her that all the girls he touches become limp. The sword princess is surprised hearing this and wonders if this is an effect of the infinite darkness ability she wishes had used it on her. When he leans closer, suggesting he has ways to make her talk, fear overtakes her. She starts crying and wonders if he is going to do bad things to her. Our boy doesn't make it easier for her and makes the freakiest expression when asking her if she is ready. This is enough to break her, and she agrees to tell them everything. She confesses that a man in a black cloak gave her the protective charm. She has never seen his face and knows nothing of his true identity. But the weapon he offered was genuine, tightly bound to the tree. She explains that by using fresh blood with the soul-bearing talisman, she could lure predators weaker than herself and then provoke them until they willingly served her. He frowns, asking if the attack on the state of women had also been that cloaked man's scheme. She protests, saying she was deceived by false information from the predator, which led her into the attack. Hearing all this, our boy realizes that the girl is being used by the man in black without even knowing it. Pressing further, he asks about the weapon. She admits awkwardly that the talisman is on her body and, being tied, she can't move. So if he wants it, he will have to search for it himself. Suspicious, he scans her carefully, questioning where she could possibly hide it. She snaps angrily that she is bound and has no chance to play tricks. Whether he believes her is his choice. Yuma awkwardly tells him that even if the evocation banner is on her, it must be somewhere she thinks is the safest. By that, she means between her melons she reaches down the depths of heaven and grabs the banner. The MC looks at it with doubt, surprised that it's so small and wonders if it might be fake. The demon girl insists it is real, explaining that though it appears tiny, once it touches blood, it will expand and reveal its true power. Our boy declares that the talisman is the final clue. Even if she has been used by others, the fact remains that she attacked the state of the country, so she has no plans of letting her go so soon. Until he understands the banner, he decides she will be escorted back to the state of women to face punishment in prison. Before he can act, the Sword Princess interrupts, asking if they can take her back tomorrow because she doesn't want to go home tonight. He is caught off guard by her sudden request. But eventually the two of them walk to the nearby lake and sit by the shore. He feels nervous, realizing this is the first time he is sitting alone with a girl in such a secluded place, unsure how to ease the awkwardness. He searches for a topic. Yuma gently tucks her hair behind her ear and softly calls his name, thanking him for being by her side. She says she feels safe with him around. He blushes and mentions she doesn't to thank him since he hasn't fulfilled his promise to avenge her people yet. She insists that he has already done well and expresses her gratitude. The girl starts dropping her lure and tells him that she became the leader when she was only 18. All the neighboring countries flourished and only hers was left in ruins. The MC feels bad for her since she had to shoulder all that responsibility from a young age. She stretches her arms and says that she feels relieved for the first time in a while, and it's all thanks to him. Her words leave him stunned. Unsure if he heard right, he asks again, Yuma,